Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, and streaming, and all sorts of good things. And guys, it's Monday. Welcome to the start of a brand new week. We hope you had a fabulous weekend, and you hope you have an even better week ahead of yourselves. And we're starting off the week right. We got Kimberly Ann Curran here. Kimberly, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good to have you here. And right beside her, fresh off a friend's wedding, Ray Ora. You hung over. You're looking a little
Good morning.
He's ready to go. And of course, over beside him is Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir?
John, because of my man Russell Wilson up there in the great Pacific Northwest, the Rams are going to the playoffs.
I mean, the Rams are already in the playoffs. They locked it, but now they're ranked a little bit. Hey, listen, they ended on a win. Right? They ended on a win. That's a good thing. By the way, some crazy football yesterday.
Crazy.
That game last night between the Chargers and the Raiders is one of the nuttiest things ever I have ever seen, but I will talk about that
Too
another
bad, San
time.
Diego. Bye-bye.
Anyway, good to have you guys here joining us here today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about, of course, the passing of Bob Saget. We're going to be talking about some Ben Affleck stuff, saying, you know, what miserable experience Justice League was. We're going to be talking about, could that Echo series actually truly be a Daredevil series? We've been talking about that a little bit. That and a bunch of things more. But before we do, guys, we got to talk about some controversy. Over-under game
controversy?
Controversy
Can't believe it.
has come out about the over-under game that I got to let you guys know about. Because we got to be all above board here as the commissioner of the over-under game. I got to be above board with you guys. Let you know about this controversy. You guys know that the way we do the over-under game is, I put up a post in the community tab of YouTube saying, hey, if you guys want to be entered to win, send me an email with this special word in the subject line, and then let me know who you want representing you in the game, right? Now, one of our viewers, great viewer, Justin Jorgensen, wrote in and said he wants Kimberly representing him in the game. And then Kimberly ended up winning the game of over-under, meaning that Justin Jorgensen won. However, controversy.
Uh-oh.
Controversy what?
Double J. Justin Jorgensen, Double J controversy.
It's coming. So Double J, as Ray has referred to him as, when I was going in and I was searching through my emails for him so I could find his mailing address, I came across a disturbing development.
Uh-oh.
Here's what happened. 2 minutes after Justin Jorgensen emailed us saying he wants Kim to be representing him, I discovered that he sent in another email 2 minutes later saying that he changed his mind. I was not aware that Robert was available. I choose Rob.
Controversy.
Controversy.
Great. Blame me for this.
So
My
He
fault.
stopped believing in me.
he stopped believing in you,
Stopped
Kim.
believing in me. And how did that work out for you, sir?
It didn't work out well for our good friend Justin Jorgensen, because he was technically now no longer under the protective gaze of Kimberly Ann Curran,
Which is where you want to be. Yes.
which is where you want to be. I think that's where everybody wants to be.
It's true.
And so Justin Jorgensen was not being represented by Kimberly Ann Curran. So Justin does not win. So now Kim
Controversy.
giggles. How dare you doubt Kimberly? So
if every man in my life who's ever pulled some shit like this would just see, this is what happens when you don't believe in me and stand up for me. That's okay. That's
Yep.
okay,
There
because
we
now
go.
you lost like all of them.
So here's the thing. The only fair thing to do now is we're going to do another game of over-under tomorrow, and that awesome Wenwu figure is going to be up for grabs again tomorrow. So the Wenwu figure will be up for grabs again tomorrow. Just want to let you guys know about the
Angel in the chat said, a reversal.
a reversal.
Like in wrestling.
Can I just say that Beyonce song is just on replay? I'm the best thing you never had. Remember that.
Let's remember that.
Remember that.
Never do a reversal. Anyway, hey guys, good to have you here. Here's how today's show's going to go. We break the show up into two parts. In the first half of the show, we take some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we take your live comments and questions. Now, if you'd like to get in a live comment or question to be read on the show, if you're watching live, and only if you're watching live, go ahead and use the super chat feature that's in the YouTube chat, and we'll read those off when we get to the end of our main topics. If you're watching the show any other time, like the other 22 hours during the day, simply submit by going down into the description of this video, and you'll see a tip link. Click on that there, or enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. Send that in, and you'll be getting your comment or question read on this show or an upcoming companion video if we deem your question appropriate to be used on our shows. And of course, you'll be supporting our channel at the same time. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys very much for your support. Okay, guys, that down. Let's get into one off the top here, shall we? And that off the top is this. One of the more popular, like kind of pop culture sort of things that was around for a lot of years that I was never all that into was Jackass. And like all my friends started watching, and I tried watching some of it, saying, you know, it's not really for me. And then they did a Jackass movie. I didn't really love it. And then they did a Jackass 2. I didn't really love it. And I don't know why. But then Jackass 3 came out. And I loved it. Like I thought it was one of the funniest things I had ever seen, which is really weird considering like the previous Jackass stuff wasn't really for me. But that third one came out, and I adored it. And I had to have watched it at least a dozen times. I think I saw it like 4 times in theaters. I watched it like a dozen times. I love the movie. I just thought it was absolutely hilarious. So I've been really excited for seeing Jackass Forever. And then trailers came out. They did this great presentation live on stage at CinemaCon about Jackass Forever. And then it got delayed again. And it was supposed to come out in early February. And a lot of us have been wondering about whether Jackass Forever might get delayed again, because some other things are getting delayed. I mean, we've got Pixar is moving Turning Red straight to streaming. We already saw Morbius get bumped, stuff like that. But apparently, no. The Jackass crew, not only did they put out a new trailer today, which is the best trailer yet for this thing, but they also make fun of the fact in the trailer that they've had to delay the film a couple of times. But now they're saying, so some people thought it might be going to streaming. Nope, they said, we promise you now. We promise. It's coming February, what is it? 4th. Coming February 4th in theaters only is Jackass Forever. And then as a big UFC guy, seeing Francis Ngannou in the trailer, someone's going to take a shot from the most powerful puncher in the UFC today in Francis Ngannou. That looks, the whole thing looked great. I thought this trailer was awesome. I absolutely loved it. Rob, you had a chance to check out the trailer for this thing. Are you a Jackass guy in general? And what did you think about this trailer? You looking forward to this?
Well, many people would tell you I am a Jackass guy in general, but I am not. I'm not a fan of this franchise. I mean, I understand it's funny. I was never a Three Stooges guy when I was a kid. You know, it's funny, but it's just not for me. I'm more of a narrative guy.
Right. So not really for you. What about you, Kim? I mean, you watched the trailer. Were you interested in this?
Look, when this came out and I was in like junior high and stuff, and the guys would always tell you see Jackass, and the girls would stand in the corner and be like, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. Look, now that I have 3 teenagers in my life, I will be here day one. I've got 3 boys in my life. I know I have to see this. I don't have a choice. And so I'll definitely be seeing it the day it comes out. And that's just a part of auntie life, honestly.
Ray, I mean, what you just watched the trailer. Are you looking forward to Jackass? Come on, help me out here. Am I the only one?
The pain videos I just can't do anymore. I had my phase of that, and then I've seen everything. I think I guess I grew too old for I mean, I grew out of watching these videos. I mean, if there's clips on YouTube, I'll watch it, but a full-length movie, I don't think I could sit through that. It's just because I can't watch pain happening. You know, it's
right.
just too hard for me to watch. But I will say that I hope these guys' bodies hold up and that nothing bad happens to them. And
I can't believe they're still
okay.
alive.
Yeah, you know,
seriously, I can't believe these guys are still alive. Like when you look at what they do, like they're all gray and they're like doing this.
Or they don't have
And-
like missing fingers or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And I believe Johnny Knoxville might be doing a spot at the next WWE.
I've seen them pop. I've seen the Jackass guys
Yeah,
pop up at WWE events
Yeah,
all the
but
time.
I guess it was just announced that he's going to be like some sort of special something at the next event, and I'm like, oh my god, something crazy is about to happen.
Yeah, they're gonna do something
and
crazy.
God bless him, man. I hope whatever they're planning, he's gonna be okay.
Big Show's gonna come out.
He's
Retirement,
gonna
come out,
jump
power
off.
Slam
He's
him.
gonna jump off like the ladder, like from the top of the, big screen. I have a feeling it's gonna be crazy. I don't know.
Horrible.
I'm surprised I'm the only one in the room who's excited for this, and I didn't even like the other Jackass stuff. Whatever. I think
The fans are telling me it's Royal Rumble. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
So he's
Wait a
going to
minute,
get
is he
tossed
going
out
to
into the
be
crowd.
in the
yeah,
Royal Rumble?
He's a participant
Oh
in the
my
Royal
God,
Rumble.
that's gonna be
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. So there we go.
Shameless, whatever WWE taking the money of the Jackass people. Why not? I'll watch that for that. Anyway, guys. Question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the new Jackass trailer? If so, what did you think? Have you always been into Jackass? Are you not really? Are you excited about this movie? I'm telling you what, I'm deliriously excited for it. I can't wait to watch it. Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move into our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics here in the John Campea Show? Well, it's really rather simple. You see, you guys come up with our main topics. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic here on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. You're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. That down, Kim, what is our first main topic today?
All right, everyone. Our first main topic comes from James Lockman. Hey, John, I just heard the terrible news of actor-comedian Bob Saget passing away at the age of 65. Best known for playing Danny Tanner in Full House and hosting America's Funniest Home Videos. But I'll remember him for playing himself in one of my favorite shows of all time, Entourage. Even though he played a fictitious portrayal of himself, I found it quite entertaining and is one of the many things that made Entourage so great. What are your thoughts?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, James. I was stunned when I heard about it. I mean, look, when we've had a couple of icons and legends pass away recently, and why we were all saddened about the passing of Betty White, 99 years. She gave glory to this world, right? And so not really stunned to hear about. Saddened, not stunned. Bob Saget, I was actually really surprised to hear about this because every time I saw him, he seemed like he was super healthy. I mean, dude did not look 65.
No.
I mean, he looked mid-50s at worst. I mean, he just looked great for his age, and 65 is incredibly young. And apparently he was out on tour. He was out on tour doing this big, long comedy tour. He was found in his hotel room. But the initial findings, look, obviously we don't know anything, but they said the initial police statement that came out said there was no evidence of drug use, because I know that's the first thing people, comedian found dead in a hotel. Everybody instantly goes to drug use. I guess that has happened a lot. But they said there was no evidence of drug use, no evidence of foul play. So they're going to come out with those results sometime later. Obviously, most people, when they think of Bob Saget, they're going to think of Full House. And I get it. I was never a huge Full House guy, but I watched Full House a little bit. What I actually remembered him most for, and this is going to be weird, and it was this documentary about a joke. There was a documentary about a joke, and the joke was, now I can't remember the name of it. It was called the something, and I'm forgetting the name of it now.
The live chat will know.
Yeah, the live chat. No, you guys in the live
It's-
chat, throw it in there. I was just thinking about it earlier today, and now I'm freezing on the name of it. But it's basically this documentary, The Aristocrats. This is called The Aristocrats. So it's just a documentary about the dirtiest, filthiest joke ever told. And it's got some of the greatest icons in comedy history, and Bob Saget doing it. And that's where I saw Bob Saget in a whole new light, because we saw him on America's Funniest Home Videos. By the way, he was a great host.
Yeah, he was.
For America's Funniest Home Video. And you're right, his turn on Entourage was great. He was a game show host. He was, he did a lot, but he was truly a gifted stand-up comedian. And I would always remember the delight I would have watching people who only ever knew Bob Saget as the dad in Full House do one of his truly raunchy comedy routines and be completely taken aback by it. So yeah, I was really sad to hear about this. The dude was too young. I mean, he was too young, and the guy just had so much laughter and everything to give the world. Very, very sad to hear about the passing of Bob Saget. Rob, you heard about this. What are your thoughts on the passing of Bob Saget?
Well, like you said, he was on tour, and he had tweeted out hours before how great his tour was going and how he had done a 2-hour set and how much fun he was having. So on that note, I mean, the old adage that, he went out doing something he loved doing, the fact that he was performing, he was doing something that he loved the most in the world, and that's sort of his last day on earth. I think that if you have to go, that's not a bad way to leave. But he was only 65 years old. He had I'm sure many more comedy stand-up sets to do. So I'm sad to hear about his passing, but I am glad that, again, he lived a life that he touched a lot of people and meant a lot to a lot of TV viewers, and people will remember him. And that's all you can ask for.
Kim, Full House, I'm sure, was a part of your life growing up and everything too, and a lot of the other things you did. Your thoughts on his passing?
Well, one, I was super shocked. It was super shocked, and it was heartbreaking because, it makes me think of the effect that TV has on our real lives. And I saw a lot of comments of people saying, he raised me.
Right.
And honestly, that's not oh, yeah, right. Because you hear a lot of people that come to this country and the way they learned English was TV. So television has such an impact on our lives, and just seeing that single widowed dad of 3 girls, for a lot of people that maybe didn't grow up with a dad, that was the image that they saw. And those images are so important. And he really did care about that role. I didn't know about his raunchy side.
I don't think a lot of people did.
All growing up. And I remember seeing Half Baked. And that scene where it was like AA or something, and people are talking about, their addiction, and Dave Chappelle gets up there and talks about his addiction to weed. And then Bob Saget stands up out of the crowd and is like, is that addiction to you? Have you ever for heroin? Because I have. And I was like, y'all can check out the movie if you want to know what he said. But my mouth was like, America's dad? No, I had no idea that he had a filthy side. I didn't know that. But actually, I appreciate how separate he kept it.
Yes.
And I think that's really an art when you can be known in one world, in the comedy world, for your specific type of humor, which he was a funny guy, but then you can be really America's dad. And I think he's warmed and touched so many hearts, and he's really going to be missed.
And you know what? He was a director too. He directed that Norm Macdonald comedy with Dirty Deeds or Dirty Jobs.
Dirty Deeds.
Dirty Deeds, right? Yeah. I remember that movie, man. Watch it. So the dude was so multifaceted. He brought so many different levels of entertainment to the world. The family stuff, the sit-at-home, a reality world with America's Funniest Home Videos, the raunchy stuff, and then his turn on Entourage was fantastic. And while he is gone too young, let us celebrate the contributions that Bob Saget made to the world of entertainment, touched a lot of different peoples on a lot of different levels. And what a life, Rob, as you would often say, a life well lived. And he gave a lot in terms of entertainment to a lot of people.
It was called Dirty Work.
Dirty Work. That's the name of it. Thank you, Ray.
Dennis.
And thank you guys in live chat. Dirty Work. It was really, really quite good. Anyway, guys, what do you think of Bob Saget when you think about him and his legacy? What's going to be the legacy to you that you think of? What stands out the most? What puts the biggest smile on your face when you think about the contributions that he made to the world of entertainment? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump on down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, before we move on, let's pay some bills here and go and listen to one of the sponsors of today's show, our friends at Manscaped. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, Manscaped. Now, look, guys, it's a brand new year. It's time to make some resolutions about taking care of ourselves, and that includes taking care of our balls. For too long, too many guys I know have been using like beard trimmers, or even worse, this part of the electric razor to take care of the area down there. It's barbaric. It's like trying to carve the statue of David using a dull butter knife. Thankfully, there is a solution for guys like you and me, and it's Manscaped. Manscaped is a company dedicated to giving us guys products to take care of the parts that we often forget to take care of properly. Now, I've been using the Performance Package 4.0. The package includes the backbone of their line, the Lawnmower 4.0. And listen, I love this thing. It's designed and built specifically for our ball area, giving the best and most comfortable results that I have personally, honestly, ever had. And you have to try to believe it. It also comes with the Weed Whacker. It's a specialized tool for, your nose and ear hair trimming that Ray Ora himself just recently used for a special event, and it worked better than his previous tools. And I gotta mention the body wash. I am not joking. I used the body wash for the first time about a week ago, and you can ask Kimberly, Ray, or Rob, or any of them. I came into the studio that day raving about how I haven't enjoyed taking a shower this much in a long time. The body wash is fantastic. Also included is the Crop Preserver. That's your ball deodorant, guys. Take care of yourselves down there. And also don't forget the Crop Reviver, which is a ball toner. So guys, get 20% off and free shipping with the code Campea at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Make sure you use that promo code Campea. It's the new year, guys. No pubes in 2022 with Manscaped. All right, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Kim, coming off of that, what is our second main topic today?
I'm refreshed.
Raza Hyder says, "Hey, John and crew. Disney announced that Pixar's Turning Red will no longer debut in theaters on March 11th, instead going straight to Disney+. This is the third Pixar film to skip a theatrical release entirely after Soul in December of 2020 and Luca in June of 2021, at a time when theaters are reopening and big movies were premiering. Meanwhile, Disney's animated films Raya and the Last Dragon and Encanto both received theatrical releases. Why do you think Pixar keeps getting the short end of the stick among Disney studios? And what does this mean for the future of Pixar?"
All right, thanks a lot for sending this in. Now, of course, on Friday's episode of the John Campea Show, late into the show, news came out that Disney they put out the press release that Turning Red, a movie I am very excited about.
Me too.
I think these trailers have looked delighted. It's not even just because it takes place in Toronto, but I'm very, everything is, you got the CN Tower in the background. I think it looks delightful and wonderful, and I can't wait to see it. And then the news came out. They are pulling its theatrical release, third Pixar film in a row to have its theatrical release pulled, and they were putting it directly onto Disney+. I believe March 11th. I think that was the date, somewhere around there.
It was.
Now, there are two different ways of looking at this. On the one hand, like you're saying, if you're a Pixar person, you might be pretty pissed off today. As a matter of fact, there are reports going around about members of Pixar. I mean, we heard after Luca and Soul that there were a lot of people at Pixar that were very, very pissed off. I reached out to somebody I know who does not work directly at Pixar, but is kind of connected. And I asked a little bit last night, it's like, what are you hearing? They're saying there are people at Pixar who are very upset, because, they look over at their counterparts at Disney Animation that even through the pandemic, their films, one way or another, are getting a form of theatrical release, while our films are being relegated to direct-to-home video. And they have been pretty upset about that. And now this happened. Again, third film in a row for Pixar. Disney seems to be treating Pixar like a direct-to-home video company. And that does not sit well with the finest storytellers and artists and creators in the world who work over there at Pixar, and they don't seem to be very happy about it. And on the one hand, I get that. I do. I would understand their frustration. On the other hand, I would say this too. You don't often hear me say this, but in defense of this move, Disney is probably looking at something like Sing, right? Because during the pandemic, one of the harder areas to get a lot of people out to is family stuff, right? A lot of parents are hesitant about taking their kids into packed rooms when we're having the highest spikes in the COVID pandemic that we've ever had, all that kind of stuff. And if you need a practical example, Sing is a good example. Because you can look at Sing 2 right now and say, oh my gosh, like even with Spider-Man out there, Sing 2's made over $200 million. Woo! And that's pretty good. But Sing 1 made over $600 million, closer to that $650 million range. And so Disney's probably also looking at that and saying, are we going to get our best potential results out of Turning Red by putting it into theaters right now? And then if your answer to that is no, if they're thinking we're not going to maximize our return on this by putting it in theaters right now, well, then you got a couple of options. Do we delay it? Or do we just put it straight to Disney Plus? Remember, they've spent millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on marketing on this film already. So they're thinking, do we want to push it and then have to relaunch another marketing campaign a few months down the line and spend more millions and millions and millions of dollars? Or do we cut our losses as far as that goes and try to put it directly out onto Disney Plus, get some benefit from it right now? And that's the option they seem to be taking. So I get it. There are two different ways of looking at it. I still think, look, if I'm in the boardroom at Disney, honestly, this is what I would say. My vote is to delay it. I mean, obviously, we are not going to get our full financial potential if we put it in theaters right now. You got to be the stupidest person in the world if you don't understand that. Obviously, Disney's not going to make their full financial potential with this movie by putting it in theaters right now. You got to be a complete moron not to recognize that. So, okay, then what do? Well, then delay it. We have seen examples of films that have delayed and done pretty well. I mean, and when Top Gun comes out, it's going to do great. It got delayed. Jackass got delayed. I don't know how good Jackass is going to do, but I don't know how good Jackass is going to do under any circumstance. I don't really know about that. But to me, the answer is delay it. Push it 3 or 4 months, then have it come out and like see where things are at. But I don't know. But listen, I totally get why people at Pixar are kind of upset. You know, because when I first heard they were upset after like one of the movies got pushed, I thought, calm down, guys. You're hired to do a job. Do your job. Let the higher execs decide what they're going to do with it. But then it happens again, and then it happens again. So I get it. I see they're upset. I'm not going to pretend it's not a tough situation. Rob, you take a look at this scenario. Number one, are you surprised by this move? And then secondly, if you're the exec in the room, what do you propose that they have to do with Turning Red?
Well, I mean, you did a good job of explaining it. I'm not surprised, but you know me, John. I am a proponent of the value that is added to a film through its theatrical release. And Pixar movies, it's not like Pixar is some struggling company that maybe once upon a time has a hit. No, Pixar has consistently over the course of almost 3 decades churned out hit after hit after hit after hit. And like you said, you've got the greatest creative minds ever assembled in animation that work at this company. And I can't help but think the creators themselves, have to find this somewhat demoralizing. Why is it that Pixar is the person that, or the company that has to take this hit? And when something winds up on Disney Plus, it just doesn't have the penetration into the cultural zeitgeist. This movie looks like it would have been a water cooler movie, that people would have talked about it. Wow, I just saw this film. It's so delightful. It was so great. I'm so glad I saw it in a theater. It's never going to have that opportunity now. And it's like everything else when you stream something, even in my own mind, it's hard for me to retain a movie I've seen if I'm just watching it when it's streaming. And I feel bad for the people at Pixar. But I mean, obviously the bean counters at Disney are making a decision they think is best for the company. I just don't know how it's best for the creators. And you need the creators still making good stuff.
Yeah, and as we know, under the leadership of Bob Chapek, the number one thing under attack is creatives. The creative people are the ones that are getting shoved aside and whatever under the Bob Chapek era so far. And we'll see if that changes as time goes on. Kim, you know, you have youngins in your life. I mean, a Pixar film's a big thing. You surprised to hear about this? What do you think about the move?
Oh, I'm so disappointed. I really feel for them. I think it's a huge bummer, and I can only imagine how the artists and the writers are feeling, because the thing about Pixar is it's not just some like, make them chuckle here. Yeah, do that, make them chuckle there. Their movies have a message. And they always have a message that makes us think inward. It really opens children's eyes. I mean, the conversations that I've had with my nephews after watching a Pixar film in the theater are conversations we have over lunch where I'm able to address things like life after death. I'm able to address things like integrity. What does it mean to you guys? Let's talk about loss. And almost, I have heard friends like that have used Up like after a grandparent passed away to help kind of open the door to the conversation with their kids about loss. Like, let's watch Up and then let's talk about Nana and how much we miss her, you know? And I agree with you, Rob. When you're in the theater, it just hits different. The impact is different than when you're in your socks, in your yoga pants, pausing the TV to go do this. And I forgot to do this, so let's pause. And now you're in timeout. Everyone acts a little bit better. The behavior's a little bit better in the theater. And I think this is a huge disappointment. I encourage people to watch it because just from the trailers, it looks like a load of fun, and it looks like it has a great message about acceptance and how we evolve and change. And so I really feel for the artists and the creatives on this.
Another thing about Pixar movies is we talk about how the theatrical experience is participatory.
Yes.
You know, and people are like, oh my God, the theater went crazy in Spider-Man No Way Home. But Pixar movies always have had that audience participation.
Absolutely.
The laughter, the tears, the love that you feel. I mean, they're joyous experiences in the theater. They always have been. I mean, all the way back to things like whether it's the first Toy Story or A Bug's Life, you know, you go The Incredibles, all the way back. I mean, I saw Cars 3 with my nephew, and he's a Hot Wheels cars fanatic, and the joy that was, you know, in his heart seeing that movie, I'm like, wow, man. I mean, this is why people go to the movies.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, hey, we're still going to get to see it. I'm still very much looking to see it. It was a tough predicament. How do you guys see this? What would you have done if you were a Disney exec right now with Turning Red? Whatever you guys are feeling, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 3. It is number 3, right? Kim, what is our third main topic today?
Okay, this is coming from Ariel K. Greetings from Ottawa, Ontario. Batfleck recently did an interview with the LA Times where he said his experience with filming the Justice League was the nadir of his career, with one bad thing happening after another. That ultimately left him feeling burnt out with the character. I think this gives some closure to Affleck leaving his role and not directing the Batman. What are your thoughts?
All right. Thanks a lot for saying that in, man. And yeah, I remember a couple days ago, news started to hit. I started seeing these headlines going around saying Ben Affleck calls Justice League the worst experience he's ever had and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, whoo, as if that entire title and property needs more drama surrounding it. And you guys know, long before it was cool, I'm a Ben Affleck fan. I've been a Ben Affleck fan for a long time. I think this dude is great. And if you want to know just how good of an actor he is, go watch Changing Lanes with him and Samuel L. Jackson. And I thought he was great. I mean, I know not everybody loved the recent one he did with Matt Damon, The Last Duel. I thought he was fantastic in it. Like
Yep.
I thought the bro chemistry between him and Adam Driver in it was like sick and twisted, but really awesome. I thought the chemistry was great. I've always loved Ben Affleck, and his Batman incarnation is my favorite incarnation of the character on screen so far. And I really wanted a Ben Affleck directed and starring in Batman movie. I'm still super excited for the Batman being directed by Matt Reeves, but I always wanted the Ben Affleck one, right? Now, obviously, there's a lot of drama that went on around the Justice League. However, what has happened, and it happens all the time in the fan communities, that headline goes out, Ben Affleck, says the Justice League was the worst experience of his thing, and that's all people read, and they start running with all these narratives about what that meant. Oh, it meant that he hated this person. It meant he hated that person. Until you actually read what Ben Affleck wrote and said. And then you realize, man, this is a dude who had a lot going on in his life. A lot of self-inflicted injuries. Self-inflicted. But a lot of stuff going on nonetheless. This comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter, writes the following. And this is Ben Affleck speaking. He says, "It was really Justice League that was the native for me," Affleck recalled, who retired as the Caped Crusader in 2019, but will be back in the role for The Flash in November. "That was a bad experience because of a confluence of things. My own life, my divorce, being away too much, the competing agendas, and then Zach's personal tragedy and the reshooting. It just was the worst experience. It was awful. It was everything that I didn't like about this," the star continued. "That became the moment where I said, I'm not doing this anymore. It's not even about like Justice League was so bad, because it could have been anything." And that again comes to us from Ben Affleck and the folks over at the Hollywood Reporter. This is interesting to me because I think sometimes we as movie fans, myself included, we forget that these are real people with in many ways, much different sets of problems than you and I have, because money ain't one of them, but a lot of the same problems we have too. And, Ben has been somebody who, again, I acknowledge self-inflicted injuries, but he has struggled with substance abuse, alcoholism. He had the stuff with his relationship with Jennifer Garner. His marriage fell apart. He's got kids with that person. Plus, you got to remember that when he was doing like Batman versus Superman, all that kind of stuff, Ben Affleck was one of the hottest names in Hollywood. I think a top 5 director at the time. Like everything he was directing was turning out to be awesome. And it seemed like for a little bit, for the first time in his career, everybody was loving Ben Affleck. Then on top of all the personal problems, Batman versus Superman came. It was obviously very critically and with the audience, very divisive. Some people loved him, some people didn't. Then the sad Affleck memes started going, remember those?
Yeah.
The sad Affleck themes going around and all that kind of stuff on top of all the personal problems he was having. And then I thought he very well articulated why for him that time while he was shooting Justice League was the absolute worst experience for him, because he was dealing with all that on top of his personal issues, on top of his very public divorce, on top of being away from his kids while all that mess was going on, and on top of and on top of and on top of. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there with agendas who want to rush to say, oh, this was him talking about how much he hated that movie. But he specifically said, look, this isn't about how bad this is about all these things combined. And I'm sure the fact that Justice League wasn't all that well received is probably part of that. But anyway, I think this is really good to put a human face on it. Now, I will say this too. This is kind of the third or fourth new version of Ben Affleck explaining why he walked away from Batman, right? And I'm not blaming him, but at first was, I just realized I can't star as Batman and do a good job directing, so I'm going to give up the director's chair. And everybody believed it, when obviously that wasn't true. Then he got on stage at CinemaCon or at Comic-Con when people like myself and a few others said Ben Affleck is out as Batman. But he still got on stage at Comic-Con and said, no, what did he say? I'll be an ape for Matt Reeves and crawl around on all four. Woohoo, I'm still Batman. Well, we know now he wasn't. He had actually made the decision long before that to step away from it. Then came out a different version about it now. And I think as more times pass, we're getting closer and closer to the real picture about why he stepped away. And honestly, I like that because it's putting a more human face to it. So it's kind of interesting to see and hear. And listen, I don't care. I am still a big Ben Affleck fan. I still cannot wait to see him in that cape and cowl again in The Flash. I don't care how good or bad The Flash turns out. I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I will look forward to seeing whatever Ben Affleck does. I still haven't watched a Tender Bar. I've got it queued up on my TV. I got to watch a Tender Bar. Haven't got around to it yet. But I will watch, and I cannot wait to watch him direct again and all that kind of stuff. And here's hoping for a bright and healthy future for Ben and getting back on the full track he was on prior to all the stuff going on. Rob, you know how you and I talk a lot about how much I like Ben Affleck, but you know, you hear him now kind of recounting this story. Does it kind of change the way we perceive the way all the drama was going on at the time?
Well, I think it adds clarification. And, you know, us fanboys are always talking about, well, especially Zack Snyder's Justice League, there's a lot of conversation that is ongoing about that project. And I think it's nice to have clarification from Mr. Affleck himself about what was going on. A lot of people don't realize that making movies for some people is a profession. It's a job. So it's not like while you're making movies that you're feeling like, my God, I've been a part of this cultural artifact like Zack Snyder's Justice League, and then it gets turned into Joss Whedon's Justice League and all the craziness happens. It's a job, and people usually take pride in those jobs, and they want these things to be good. And when something goes very, very south on you and it's out of your control, no matter what it is, no matter how much money you're getting paid, you still want it to be good. You still put years of your life into something. And then when it isn't good, it's crushing. Take away the money, take away the fame, but the actual act of creation, when it gets subverted somehow, and then on top of that, you've got a drinking problem, you're trapped in a marriage, you're going through a divorce. I mean, Ben Affleck's just a person like anybody else. And what he copped to the fact that this was all going on, man. I felt for the guy reading that. I read the interview. Yeah. And I felt for him. I was like, psh. And plus, public scrutiny. You know, you can't go anywhere. You can't go to a bar and talk to the bartender if you're feeling bummed out. Someone's going to come up and ask for an autograph. I mean, what a bummer.
You know, and one of the interesting things too here that he said was, finding out this is he was already having the worst experience before Zack Snyder left the project.
Right.
And he's not at all blaming any of it on Zack Snyder.
Not at all.
But, you know, just go back and look at this. Go back and look at this one point again, when he said that was his bad experience because of a confluence of things: my own life, my divorce, being away too much, the competing agendas, and then Zack's personal tragedy. Like then him leave. So even before Snyder left, like he was just saying this was the most miserable experience, and it had a lot to do with the circumstances going on in his life.
Yeah, and the guy's an A-list director. His film Argo won Best Picture, and I got to tell you, I really liked Sum of All Fears when he stepped into the role of Jack Ryan. I thought that movie was really good, and I would have loved to have seen him continue that series.
Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about these comments now being made by Ben Affleck? I think it helps to put a real human face on everything that was going on. How are you guys feeling about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 4. Kim, what is our 4th main topic today?
Okay, this comes from Jeremy Wright. Hey, John. So it's not surprising that the 355 did badly at the box office, but I gotta say, it is surprising just how badly it did. The movie didn't make $5 million opening weekend. How could a movie with Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o, Sebastian Stan, and so many other big names flop this hard? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks for sending this in. And I think it was last week we were talking about the 355, and I was saying this isn't. I mean, all of us were saying this is not going to do well. And when asked what I think it's going to do, I said I think I'm being generous when I say 15 million. I didn't realize how generous I was being. Like 3 times generous. This movie came out, this big Hollywood feature film with some of the biggest names and biggest stars, including like Winter Soldier himself, Sebastian Stan, along as with one of the most impressive female casts we've seen in a movie in a long time. And the movie makes $4.8 million at the box office.
Ouch.
That's a huge ouch. I will go on and say that is, in recent Hollywood history, one of the biggest flops in recent Hollywood history. So in the post-mortem, the question becomes, why? How? How did this movie do so badly? We understand it's terrible. A lot of terrible movies can still make more than $4.8 million. I want to suggest there are a couple of probably contributing factors to this. Let's get the big obvious one out of the way. A lot of films are having a hard time the last couple of years. pandemic, what have you. Okay, so that's a factor. I personally think the biggest factor, not to it doing badly, because it was going to do badly regardless, but to it doing this badly, has something to do with, I think a lot of people just forgot this film. Here's a little thing for you. The first trailer for the 355 came out in October of 2020. October of 2020 is when the marketing campaign went into full gear for the 355. And it's summed up best in my conversation with my wife about it the other day when I asked, hey, you interested in going to see maybe the theaters this week and going to see the 355? She goes, what's that? And I explained it to her. She goes, wait, didn't that come out like a year ago? I'm like, no, it never did. And then they clearly did not get a commitment for a true, really good marketing budget again for this relaunch because it just flew under a lot of people's radars. Now, again, I'm not saying that's why it did badly. I think it was going to do badly regardless. But when you combine that, because some films have done better at relaunching than others. Like some films have been pushed dates and then they remount a serious new ad campaign, get things going. This didn't really get that. Its ads were here and there, whatever, but it didn't really happen. There's also another kind of angle to this that I think is interesting that the folks over at Forbes gave us. But in talking about an all-female spy-like action thing, the folks at Forbes wrote the following. Why would moviegoers drive to theaters for the 355 when they can watch Karen Gillan's Gunpowder Milkshake, which was supposed to be in theaters? Chastain's Ava, which had a limited release before breaking out on VOD. Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Kate and Kate Beckinsale's Jolt, along with Maggie Q's theatrical, but now VOD, the Protege, which I really love, At Home. The spy flick will presumably be available on PVOD in about 2.5 weeks. I imagine the casually curious are just waiting. Now, again, I don't think that's because there's so many. If you're in the mood for a female spy action-centric movie, because there are so many options right now on a lot of streaming, I don't think that's the prevailing thing, but it's another thing. And I think when you start adding up poorly rolled out marketing campaign in trying to relaunch, the fact that the first trailer came out literally in 2020, the fact that a lot of people didn't even realize it was coming, the fact that apparently it's quite awful. I still haven't brought myself to go watch it. I've just, a lot of people I know telling me, John, we know what you movies you like. You're going to hate this because we hated it. So it's done very poorly on that level. The fact that there are these other options, all this kind of stuff, I still don't know how to explain it only making 4.8. I mean, that's ridiculously low, but I think it all kind of adds up to that thing. Rob, you know, we've been talking a lot about the 355 lately and about how...
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way. And the fact that we had low expectations. I am a Simon Kinberg fan. I mean, I think when you go down his list of work as a producer and as a writer, he's got a couple of rotten eggs on there for sure. But he's also got some fantastic films in there as well. I have been cheering for him. My own thing is this. You know, in the NFL, I always bring to a sports analogy. A lot of times they say when you draft a hot rookie quarterback, what do they say? Don't start him right away. You're going to ruin him. Let him sit on the bench behind a vet. Let him get his feet under him, then launch him. Because if you put them out there too early, we've seen this happen to a lot of NFL quarterbacks. Some rookies come out and they're great right out of the gate, but a lot of rookie quarterbacks, they get thrown in before they're ready. I think Simon Kinberg was thrown, and he did it himself, into directing a big tentpole X-Men film when he had never directed another film ever in his life. I thought that was too big of a project. And instead of learning great lessons from it and bringing those lessons over to 355, it kind of looks like he's a ruined quarterback at this point in some ways. I know, Rob, you see the results of the 355s again. What do you attribute it to?
Well, I think you summed it up nicely, but I really think that if this movie was good, and it had great word of mouth.
Winning
and people
cures everything.
Winning cures everything. And it's back to your sports analogy. I just think, like, look, this movie was tailor-made for my interests, my subset of genres that I like. The spy action thriller, the female spy action thriller, all the way back to Luc Besson's La Femme Nikita and The Professional. I mean, and I love Jessica Chastain. As a matter of fact, I love Lupita Nyong'o. I loved the cast of this movie is great.
Amazing.
And for you to make a film, I mean, I read a number of reviews about this, and it had really lackluster reviews. And what's interesting to me is this is a genre that's well traveled, as Forbes pointed out, and you should be looking at these things. There's no excuse to write a spy thriller, if it's female oriented or male oriented or whoever's orientation it is, that is lackluster in this day and age, because there's lots of material to look at and go, there's this, and this. And if we're going to do this, we have to be better than these movies. Otherwise, why make the film? So unfortunately, everybody takes a bath on this, and then it's going to be even harder to get a female ensemble movie made again that's like this. And that's the real bummer, is that, you know, when you have such a great cast, talk about a diverse cast, a cast that is made up of incredible actresses, to squander that kind of talent makes it harder to make a movie like this in the future. And that's the bummer.
You raise a really great point, because look at what happened with R-rated comic book movies. Because there were a number of R-rated comic book movies that nobody talks about anymore because they all struggle. Like even Watchmen for Warner Brothers struggled at the box office, a number of other R-rated comic book movies. And so that made the studios believe, well, the problem is R-rated comic book movies. And so it took a while for studios to start trying R-rated comic book movies, even though the rating wasn't the problem in the first place.
Right.
And I think you're right. I think this is going to hurt that too, because I think they're going to say, oh, well, look, if they did the 355 and it failed. Well, it might have been a lot of other things. It wasn't the fact that it was a female-led action film. There were other female-led action films that would do well, but I'm afraid it might
look at
set it
Lucy.
back.
Look at Scarlett Johansson in Lucy.
Kim, you have taken a look at this. You've seen how badly this thing is flopped. What's the first thing that comes to your head? Like if someone comes up to you and says, why do you think this thing failed so immensely badly at the box office? What would you respond to that?
You know what's weird is that I'm one of those where like there's so many movies to see, but if there's a bad review, it just might send me away from the theaters with all the things streaming and other movies I have to see. My list is so long, I might go, wow, everyone's saying it's bad. I might skip this one. For some reason, I still want to give this a try. And not because I think it's going to be great, but I need to give it a fair shot for myself and go, why did this do so bad? Because it's not just that it did bad. I'd say if it did like 12 million, I might have said, you know what, I'll wait till VOD. The fact that it was so bad makes me actually want to go see it and go, I got to see for myself. What happened here? What happened here? It's disappointing because this cast is amazing.
It's so good.
This cast is amazing. And Rob, you brought up a great point that it's going to make it harder when you screw this up, because the actors always talk about certain films and certain actors. You open the door for us to do this. There would be no X had there been a Y. And honestly, I'm like, come on, man. I want to see more female-led spy thrillers. But for me, like the trailers, her monologue, that voiceover was so corny. I just felt like, be badass out the gate. Stop talking so much. Let's just see the action. Let's see these girls throw down. And for me, that was a huge turnoff. So I actually am going to see this because I got to see for myself.
Here's an interesting thing. I went back and watched the original trailer that came out in 2020. It was so much better than the trailers they put out recently. Have you seen those too?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I wanted to see this movie.
So did I.
I mean, I saw the trailer. I'm like, oh, this is right up my alley. You know, the only thing that Simon Kinberg, I mean, he's written so many good things, but for me, between Invasion, his new TV series, and this, I'm like, bruh, come on, man, you're squandering some great opportunities here.
Yeah.
Even though the Invasion, I know, got season 2 from Apple. I'll watch it because I'm using it as a sleep aid, but I hope it's better.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think I'm being too harsh by calling it like one of the most biggest significant flops in recent Hollywood history? I mean, it's obviously not number one, but I think it's right up there. Did you have a chance to see yourself? What did you think about it? What do you contribute this level of failure to? Whatever you guys are feeling, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 5, shall we? Kim, what is our 5th main topic today?
Okay, this is coming from Randall F. Hey, John and crew. I know you've been saying that you don't think the new Echo show is actually an Echo show, but actually just a secret facade for a new Daredevil series. But news just came out that the writers from both Netflix's Punisher and Daredevil series just joined the show. Does this change your mind at all about this, or are you still convinced the Echo show is for real? Love the show, and Ray is always my game pick.
Oh, there it is.
I don't know what happened to you.
Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
He just likes the underdog.
So, all right, listen. Yeah, look, we have talked about this a bunch. A lot of people have been writing into the show ever since Hawkeye, even before Hawkeye came out, and suggested, you think that Echo show might actually be Daredevil? You think they might be doing a little bait and switch? You know, they do you like even before Hawkeye came out, I had some people writing in. Do you think there's a possibility they could be pulling a, Captain America and the Serpent Society, which actually really was Captain America Civil War? And I've been saying for a long time, well, the big difference of that is that it was still a Captain America project. Yeah, it wasn't Serpent Society. It was Civil War, still a Captain America thing. Then Hawkeye came out. And I don't think anybody in this room, correct, all three of you, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think anybody in this room was particularly taken with the Echo character. Is that fair to say?
Well, I've enjoyed that character in the comics quite a bit. And I did like the portrayal of how she became, when she was a kid.
Right.
I really liked all that stuff. I don't think the older Echo was given enough to do in the Hawkeye show.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. But the end result was that I don't think any of us left the season finale of Hawkeye going, can't wait to watch Echo. Woo! I don't think any of us kind of felt that way, which only then heightened a lot of people going, I don't. It does not feel like they set that character up for her own solo show at all, John. I really think this might be a Daredevil, and I was still like, no. I still. I can see where you're coming from now, but I still think they want to do this Echo series. I think they want to do Echo. I think the show's going to be Echo. Well, I might have to reassess a little bit because of a new little bit of a development, and that development is this. They have indeed just brought over actual writers from Daredevil and Punisher, the Netflix series, to be on Echo. This comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant, write the following. Ken Christensen and Dara Resnick will also be working as writers on Disney Plus's Echo. Christensen wrote 3 episodes of The Punisher, including Season 1, Episode 10, Virtue of the Vicious, Season 2, Episode 3, Trouble the Water, and Season 2, Episode 9, Flustercluck. And Resnick wrote 2 episodes of Daredevil, including Season 3, Episode 8, Upstairs, Downstairs, and Episode 11, Reunion. Daredevil's 3rd and seemingly final season is arguably the series' best, and with Episode 8 focusing on Benjamin Poindexter / Bullseye, played by Wilson Bethel. That comes to us from Screen Rant. So it's not that they've brought over these writers from the Netflix shows as the main writers of the thing. They're coming over. They're going to be working on this show. Does this mean that the Echo show, we can now say it's official? This is actually a Daredevil series. No, we can't. Do I believe it's far more likely today that it just might be? Listen, I've always said this. If you're an intelligent person, you allow your opinion and mind to be changed with the revelation of new information. If I had to put $20 on if I think this show is actually still going to be Echo or if it's going to be a Daredevil series, I will still put the $20 on it's going to be Echo. But I would no longer put 50. 2 months ago, I would have put $1,000 on that. I'm not kidding. I would have put $1,000. Rob, if you had come up to me and said, I'll bet you $1,000 this is actually going to be a Daredevil series, I would have said, I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet. I would not take that bet today. $20, yes. But when you start adding up the little things about the return of Charlie Cox, right? That Kevin Feige himself came out and trumpeted. When you take into account where we just saw Charlie Cox, then you take into account that in Hawkeye, it didn't really feel like they were setting up an Echo solo series. And then now you put on top of that the fact that they're actually getting Daredevil and Punisher writers from the Netflix series in to work on that. I can no longer say with any sort of certainty that there's no way this is a Daredevil series. I think if you're one of those crazy people saying that this is going to be a Daredevil series, I actually don't think you're all that crazy anymore. I got to say, I think I'm at a point where I'm going to say I am no longer going to be shocked if this does turn out to be a Daredevil series. And at some event coming up in the near future, Kevin Feige is going to be doing some event and saying, I want to bring out a special guest. And Charlie Cox comes walking out and they have the Echo show plaque, and then it spins around and it's Daredevil, the MCU's, a brand new MCU's Daredevil. Again, $20 still on Echo. Rob, you're seeing all this the way I'm seeing it. You've heard all the fans and the conspiracy theorists and everything talk about this too. Does your needle move at all with this new information we just got? And what do you think is happening here?
This is not a Daredevil series. It is a Daredevil adjacent series. And do you think that Marvel, who's announced a woman of color who is also hearing impaired, you think that they're not going to make that show in this day and age? This is a character people are going to embrace and love. But I'll tell you something, John. In this Echo show, we're going to see Kingpin. We're going to see Daredevil. We're going to see Punisher. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Luke Cage as well, my man, Mike. We're going to see all of these characters, and it's going to be their way of reclaiming those Netflix shows. I wouldn't be surprised if Jessica Jones isn't in this show. It is going to be absolutely Netflix brought into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's going to be a show that focuses on Echo.
Kim, what are you thinking about this right now? Are you swayed at all? Does this change your out view on it in any way, shape, or form?
You know, I'm really in line with what you said, Rob. I'm really in line with it because I when I saw this, I was like, okay, I like this because there's a savagery when you get into the world of Kingpin, like just bringing Kingpin in on, you know, that episode of those 2 episodes of Hawkeye. Now that you're in that world again, Disney, even with Winter Soldier, and the new Captain America, it was good. The action was good, but there's something about the world of Kingpin and Daredevil. It's got a savagery to it. And you do need to bring over those writers. I don't think you can just be on Disney Plus and be like, we're going to bring back Kingpin. I mean, I was a little nervous with the Hawaiian shirt. I was like, what are we doing here, guys? Is he still the savage Wilson Fisk that we know? And I feel like they are going to have Daredevil in this. I do think it's going to be almost 50-50. And I think if they really want to grab us to convince us that it's really Echo's show, that they're really giving her the spotlight, whatever that trailer is, needs to hit hard. And it needs to be a little bit of that savagery that we've seen with Daredevil.
Totally
because
agree.
he was breaking fools left and right, and being on Disney Plus, I'm not going to say things are watered down, but I am going to say you are not going to see the same adrenaline. You're not going to see the same violence that you saw from Netflix for sure. I don't think you take an episode of the Netflix Daredevil and just put it on Disney Plus and it's going to be the same. That's not going to happen. Well, but they do need those writers to pull us into the world of, you know, the Kingpin. Because, I mean, she shot him in the freaking face. You know, where are we picking up from that? And we need those writers to kind of bring in that savagery a little mixed with Disney Plus and their soft, pillowy selves.
Well, here's the thing, too. So I still believe this is going to be an Echo series, and I do believe we're probably going to see some of these characters. I do not believe we're about to see the importation of the Netflix series in. This is a different Kingpin. They've rewritten the Kingpin's history now with the Tracksuit Mafia. They've obviously given this Kingpin superpowers. The other Kingpin did not have superpowers. So we're already seeing some changes there. So, but I do think, and I also don't think we're going to see Punisher. At least I don't think we're going to see the John Bernthal Punisher. Although I would love it if we did, because I love John Bernthal's Punisher. But
if you see him, he won't be doing anything physical.
Yeah, well, also
because you
Punisher
can't be true
today
to
is
that
problematic
character.
for Disney. Punisher today is because There are some people who've kind of usurped Punisher's imagery and stuff like that Disney wants to have no association with. So I think that presents a little bit of a challenge as well. But I, in principle, agree with you. I think this is still going to be an Echo show. I think they're going to bring more elements. Obviously, Kingpin. They're going to bring more elements of that into it. How much of which and which ones they do, I don't know. But again, I'm just saying I'm not going to be shocked now. I'm not going to be shocked if we find out it's actually a secret Daredevil
Well,
show.
I mean, look, the Kingpin, the Tracksuit Mafia was just one part of the Kingpin's much larger empire of crime.
Not the way Hawkeye explained his history.
Well, I think that was just because, that also comes out of the comics. The Tracksuit Mafia came right out of the Mad Faction comics. And that it was just, again, the association with Kingpin was just a small part of, I think you're going to see Echo and Kingpin go to war. Because now Echo knows
it has to be, right? If it's an Echo show, it has to.
Yeah,
right?
and you're gonna. The thing is, the MCU can't really deal with street level crime, the movies, and yet Daredevil and all of the characters of that ilk are not going to be the ones that are dealing with cosmic. I mean, they might wind up in Secret Wars or something, but they're the street level characters of the MCU, and I think it's a really interesting way for Marvel to. They're kind of backdooring these characters into their universe. And I think it's a way to do it because they're already established. It's easier to come in and go, okay, we've already got, why not avail ourselves of these characters? Because they're already there. And we've already got these actors. And we don't have to start all over. People love it. And look at the response Charlie Cox got.
Huge.
How were you able to do that? I'm a really good lawyer. I mean, everyone cheered. And suddenly
one of the best lines of the movie.
And suddenly, man, Daredevil's a movie star. So they can do it.
Ray, I'm curious. Are you you've been watching these series with us and stuff like that? What are you looking forward to? What do you hope to see happen here?
When she was introduced in Hawkeye, it was just to throw, I think, the character there, and that's why we didn't get really excited for what we saw from her. I think in the series, the very first episode, or even the first 2 episodes, they're gonna really flesh her out, so we know what we're getting right away. Just because if they did something too exciting in Hawkeye, we would forget about the Hawkeye series and just start worrying about her. They wanted us to concentrate on the Hawkeye characters at that moment and just throw in there to tell us that, oh, she's coming. I believe the Kingpin and Daredevil are going to be in the show. And the reason why they brought in these writers is because they're familiar with the characters and they want their input on how they could mold them into the Disney Plus, mold, have sort of whatever they can do with them, but shape them to fit for Disney Plus.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it makes me excited. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be watching the show just to see Daredevil and Kingpin. But I hope as the show goes on, I fall in love with this character.
That we start to like her a little bit more.
Because this character seems like she has a lot going against her, but she has a lot going for her. And I want to see how she deals with that. Especially with dirty street crimes and stuff like that. How do you live with that or fight through that with her advantages and disadvantages? So,
and it should also be said here that those of us in this room, this is all I'm going to say. Those of us in this room can allow our opinions on this to be shaped by a piece of information that we know that we cannot talk about publicly. That has something to do with things I've shown you guys. So we're trying to communicate our thoughts and opinions on this, knowing something that is not general public knowledge yet. So we're trying to keep that in mind, and we will let you guys know when the time is right and we're allowed to reveal that. We'll let you guys know what that is. But anyway, guys, listen, for now, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Many of you have written into me over the months saying you think this Echo show is actually a Daredevil series. Now, with the new information about the writers coming, do you still believe that? Do you think, like most of us do, that it's probably still an Echo series that will feature other characters? Whatever you guys are thinking right now, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. Before we start getting into your live comments and questions, we want to thank one of the sponsors of today's show, our friends at HelloFresh. We want to take a second and thank a sponsor of this video, HelloFresh. Now, listen, guys, if you are anything like me or Ann, Ann and I are both working professionals. We don't have a lot of time. And what that often meant was when it would come to dinner time, we would either settle with making subpar meals or ordering fast food way too much. I like fast food once in a while, but we were eating fast food way too much. That's why something like HelloFresh was an absolute godsend for us. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Listen, with HelloFresh, you'll be cooking and eating great looking and great tasting meals without the hassle of going to the grocery store and trying to remember everything you need to get on the recipe list, and you'll be paying less. And look, I get it. You are probably saying to yourself or saying to me through the screen, John, you don't get it. I don't know how to cook. I'm telling you, with HelloFresh, you can. Because the packages don't just come with all the ingredients properly portioned out already for you, but they also include clear, easy to follow instructions with images that you'll have no problems following. In 30 minutes or less, you'll be eating great and feeling pretty damn good about yourself looking at the meal that you prepared. So right now, guys, go on over to HelloFresh.com/Campea16 and use the code Campea16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. So HelloFresh, everybody, America's #1 meal kit. All right, guys, with that down, let's now move on and start taking your points of view, your thoughts, opinions, and questions you guys have been sharing via the super chat link and during the tip link. So let's get on over there right now. Kim, what are we starting off with?
All right, this is coming from Jay Bling. I know it's wrong to want movies to fail, but I thought the 355 should have made less in its opening weekend, specifically 3.55 million. Hashtag Bad Joke Monday.
Listen, if that had happened, there'd be no like anybody who is uncertain or skeptical about the supernatural. If that had happened, if it had made 3.55 million, I'm sorry, you just have to acknowledge that something strange is going on. All right, what's next?
All right, guys, this is coming from Unbeatable. Norm MacDonald at Bob Saget's roast. Bob has a beautiful face, like a flower. Yeah, a cauliflower. No offense, but your face looks like a cauliflower. R.I.P. to both legends.
Oh, God, it still hurts that we don't have Norm MacDonald anymore. I loved his humor so much.
Right?
He was so great. That is a great memory to share, Unbeatable. Thanks for sharing that, man. That's great. All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw says, Bel Air trailer was awful. The original show was funny and colorful, but this show seems to be the opposite. Looks like a drama instead of a comedy.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you went into the trailer for the new Bel Air thinking it's a reboot of the weird, DJ Jazzy Jeff funny, wacky comedy, then yeah, no, this is by design supposed to be a dramatic reinterpretation of a story that honestly lends itself to it. A mother with a son who's afraid of the trouble and the problems that he's facing in a city like Philadelphia, and decides, I'm going to send him somewhere I think he's more safe. But then the cultural shock that happens with a young man that age suddenly going to a completely different atmosphere, and the various new trials and tribulations and troubles that you can face in those types of situations. That is a great setup for a dramatic piece.
I love the OC.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen the new trailer. I saw that the new trailer dropped. I haven't seen it yet. Kim, did you have a chance to see the trailer? I know you've been looking forward to this new show.
I have been looking forward to it. Rob, I caught that. I love the OC. It's supposed to be a drama, and that's one of the reasons that pulled Will Smith into it, because this guy, that was really cool how he kind of dropped this idea on YouTube and it got Will Smith's attention. And Will Smith himself was like, this is brilliant. I like this. A twist turn upside down on the original. So I'm excited to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks interesting. All right, what's next?
This is coming from Al Renshaw. Guest turning red was another experiment for Chapek and Disney. You have to feel bad for Pixar and all the storytellers and animators there.
Look, while I completely understand that it's a difficult situation that they're facing, I do completely feel bad for the creators and everything over at Pixar as well. And it's funny, it's just more and more popping up on my YouTube feeds. I never fully understood how much Disney Parks fans, I've talked about this before, how much Disney Parks fans hate Bob Chapek, and they have for years. And I'm seeing more and more of their videos popping up, and I'm like, I never understood why, but I'm watching. I watched like an hour-long documentary the other day. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I am starting to get it. Like, I don't go to Disneyland anymore. I've been so turned off by everything there. I am a happy season pass holder at Universal Studios. I love Universal Studios. And I don't go to Disneyland anymore. And it's some of the things they were starting to bring up. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't realize that was a Chapek thing. And I didn't realize that was it's really interesting stuff.
Wow.
All right, what's next?
John Redcorn says, buy one, rent one, lose one. Soundtrack, not score edition. Black Panther, Spider-Verse, Shang-Chi.
Those are all great soundtracks because we're not talking about the score.
Right.
We're talking about soundtracks. These are all great. But honestly, for me, it's kind of easy. Black Panther, I buy. That soundtrack's amazing. Like the songs, and that was is it Kendrick Lamar who did all this? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic soundtrack. Next by Spider-Verse. I mean, this is the way he does that. I mean, but
Sunflower.
really, I've listened to that soundtrack. I tell you what, you know how I listen to the Man of Steel theme, like a couple times a week? At least once a week, the song I put on instead is What's Up Danger from the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse thing. I love that. And I'll have to lose Shang-Chi, even though I do like the soundtrack of it, but it's not quite as good as Into the Spider-Verse or Black Panther. Rob, what would you buy, sell, or keep, or whatever? It's a tough one.
Dude, it's a tough one. I'm with you. I gotta buy Black Panther. But that song you're playing in the car the other day when we went and saw
The song that plays during the bus fight.
the bus fight, dude.
Yeah.
I bought that. I can't
Run It is
stop
the name of the
running.
song. So good.
I can't give that up.
It's a great song.
I mean, Into the Spider-Verse is great too, but I'm gonna buy Black Panther. I'm gonna rent Shang-Chi, and I'm gonna. Oh, do I have to make this choice?
I know, right? That's tough.
You know what? You know what's great? I don't, because I have them all.
That's right.
And I don't have to give them up because I already have them. So ha ha ha.
All
I
right,
win.
what's next?
Sam Fisher says, breaking. Insider sources confirm Morbius delayed after Oscar Isaac broke into the set and beat the living F out of Leto. Having mistaken him for Charles Manson, Sony are now having to do last-minute CGI and dubbing to make it look like Moon Knight cameo.
Look, I know it's not really what we're talking about here, but man, I so lament the moving of Morbius. I want to see this so bad. It also reminds me just how excited I am to see. There's whispers going around that we could be getting Moon Knight in February.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
Bruh.
What?
right?
Come
Bruh.
on.
Happy Valentine's to everyone.
I mean, right? I mean, so there are some. I cannot confirm this, but there are whispers going around that a Moon Knight trailer is imminent, like imminent as in maybe by the end of this show or maybe by tomorrow. I mean, like is imminent. And this is not John Campea says he has inside sources. No, I'm just saying I'm hearing some whispers and that we could get the show as early as February. I wouldn't be surprised if it's March or something like that, but it's coming soon. Rob, I mean, listen, you are the resident Moon Knight guy, but like, I just got to ask you, where's your enthusiasm level right now for this?
Oh, it's up here. Like it's exploded out of the top of my head and is raining all over you all right now. You just can't see it. That's how excited I am for this. I mean, I wrote a Moon Knight screenplay when I was in high school.
I did not know
It was
that.
the very first time I ever tried the screenplay form. It was actually, for those of you who want to know, it was Moon Knight's origin from issue 1, and then I also used issue 25 with the Black Spectre, which was from the first series of Moon Knight written by Doug Mention, penciled by Bill Sienkiewicz. That's my favorite Moon Knight run. So to see a Moon Knight TV series, I mean, it took 35 years, but I can't believe it. I can't believe that we're going to see Moon Knight on the big screen. I'm so excited. I think Oscar Isaac's going to kick ass, and please bring it on.
I still remember.
Filthy or not.
I still remember. You weren't there, but I was there. I was at D23 and in Anaheim, sitting in that thing when they were starting to roll out all these announcements, and they talked about Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk, and they announced Moon Knight. And I just remember going, somewhere right now, Rob is doing things that other human beings should not be witnessing Rob doing.
Didn't you tweet that or something?
I might have tweeted
I mean,
that. I can't remember exactly.
That was a glorious day, John.
That was a good
Seeing
day.
that logo, I was like, I thought I was being punked.
Yeah.
At first, I'm like, come on.
I'm like, no way. I mean, that was a huge thing. All right, what's next?
Casey Mack says, just a bad start to this year when it comes to celebrities and even sports stars. Even though it wasn't in 2022, it seems it started with Betty White.
Yeah, it did seem like it started that way. And, I feel like this happens almost every new year. Like stuff like this happens. And some people said these usually happen in 3s, or in this case, maybe 4s. And it's just an unfortunate thing. Again, the celebration of it is Bob Saget did so much entertaining. The tragedy of it is it was so young. I mean, Betty White got 34 more years than Bob Saget did. And she made the best of all 34 of those years. All right, what's next?
Sends in a 1999 super chat. Thank you. To say that Bob Chapek and Kareem Daniels should be ashamed of themselves for dumping yet another Pixar feature straight to Disney Plus would be the understatement of the decade. You might even call it sad and distressing. Let's see. It's got another one here. Oh, he sends in a $49.99
wow,
super chat.
Thank you.
He says, the way I see it, what just happened to Dom Shi, director of Turning Red, Oscar winner, Good Canadian Kid, is far more sickening, contemplatable, and disgraceful than how Scarlett Johansson had been treated by the current Disney regime. He also goes on to say, I recently read a tweet from a box office insider who claims to have spoken with a Pixar acquaintance shortly after the news broke. Apparently, the studio may be preparing to wage a public battle against Disney, like the recent ScarJo showdown. And it continues, if what the insider said is actually true and not just some speculative BS, I think Pixar, Dami Shi, and Peter Docter should definitely fight back. Pandemic be damned. And by the way, they sent in another $49.99.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thank you so much for supporting our channel on that level, dude. That's incredibly generous of you. And, it's folks like you and our viewers who support our channel who make what we do every day possible. So thank you for that. All right. First, let's cover this. Pixar cannot fight back against Disney. Pixar is Disney. Pete Docter is not an employee of Pixar. He is an employee of Disney. Disney owns Pixar. It's their thing. It's not like they're a separate company that kind of runs separately. It's the same thing as with Marvel. Like, it's not like it's Kevin Feige and Marvel versus Disney. Kevin Feige works for Disney. He's not an employee of Marvel. He is an employee of Disney. It's their thing. So no, there is no rebellion. Now, what could happen is a number of creatives at Pixar, like individuals, may say, peace, and walk out the door. They may pull an Antonio Brown, take off their shirts, leave it on the field, and run off in the distance, right? People who don't know sports have no idea what I just said. But, I mean, that could happen. But the company cannot fight back against the company that they are. You know what I'm saying? And again, look, I want to emphasize that all of us fans should keep in mind that this was a difficult situation. Again, look, Sing 2 is in theaters right now, and it's roughly making 1/3 of what the first Sing did. And by all accounts, Sing 2 is better than the first Sing movie. So they have to do something. I agree. The thing to do would be bump it by another couple of months, right? Bump it by another couple of months and then take your luck with it there. But it does seem like Bob Chapek and his lackey over there, who don't give a crap about the creatives at Disney and their various studios, are trying to turn Pixar into a direct-to-home video little company and studio. I think they panicked when the growth of Disney Plus slowed down, and they panicked when, as a result of Disney Plus's growth slowing down, that the stock price fell. And I feel that this is kind of like a panic move on their part. Let's just throw more on Disney Plus directly. And meanwhile, you've got creatives, because guess what? If Dami Shi, who I believe she's the same director who did the short film Bow, which I think won her an Academy Award, is so freaking good. It's little stuff like this that in the long term, guys, I remember having this conversation When Bob Chapek's practices started to become very concerning, and I said, look, you're not going to see anything, you're not going to notice the damage in the next 3 to 4 years. That's not when you're going to notice the damage. The damage doesn't start to get noticed until a little bit after that. Because what's going to happen with a director like Dami Shi? Next year, the year after, when whatever her contract is kind of coming to an end with Disney, she going to re-sign up with them, or is she going to take an offer from Universal? She going to take an offer from Paramount? She going to take an offer from Netflix? She going to take an offer from somebody else? And you are slowly going to start to see the talent who has been so invested heavily in the Disney ecosphere getting pillaged off and leaving and whatever. And it's going to take years for us to notice it, but it's going to happen unless they fucking smarten up and turn this thing around. So on the one hand, I get it. Something had to be done, but it is concerning to seeing that this is becoming a pattern of behavior by Bob Chapek and his minions, that it's to hell with the creatives, push their needs and interests aside, forget long-term, whatever. Our Disney Plus growth is slowed down and our stock dropped right now. So let's screw over our creatives to try to do something about it when it's not going to fix the problem. So
No.
what do you think?
Well, I think that, look, there's only so many people on the planet Earth that are going to subscribe to streaming services. And the thing about Disney is they're not putting on the kind of content that, say, Netflix is, not nearly enough. And I don't think that dropping yet another Pixar movie is going to necessarily move the needle of the subscribers that they already have. They've already got all the people that want to watch Pixar movies because they've done this before. You know, I would love to have seen Soul in a theater, but I didn't. And this movie looks like it should be a theatrical film. And the kind of decision making that's happening here, you don't want to alienate one of your tried and true studio that's made you money for a lot longer than Marvel has.
It's true. All right. What's next?
Sam Fisher says, hope you like the joke. Found it on Twitter.
There you go. All right. What's next?
ZJV1 says, any spoiler discussions for Peacemaker plans?
I'm not committing to that. I need to watch Peacemaker first. So I believe the first 3 episodes, I think I heard they're going to release the first 3 episodes at once. That's this week. Was it Thursday? Ray, can you double check that? I think it releases like Thursday or something like that. Anyway, if I watch the first batch of episodes that come out, I believe this week, then I will announce, hey guys, the next day I'll announce later today we're going to do an open spoiler discussion. But I need to see it before I commit to it.
The 13th.
It is the 13th. So it's Thursday.
Wow.
So I need to see it before I commit to it. But yeah, if it's as good as I hope it is, there will be open spoiler discussions for it the following days. All right, what's next?
Casey Mack says, I feel bad for Pixar. This is the 3rd movie that they haven't put into a theater from Pixar. Makes me worry what will happen with Lightyear.
Oh my God, why did you just bring that up?
Oh gosh, don't you dare do that to them.
They wouldn't dare.
Well, would they?
dare?
Dare. How is Lightyear different from Seeing Red?
Yeah, true.
Or Soul? Or
That sucks.
what was the third one? Oh yeah, or Luca. Or oh my God. Well, thanks a lot, Casey. I appreciate that. Now I'm going to be in a bad mood all day just thinking about that. Oh my God, if they put Lightyear straight to Disney Plus, oh my God, that's good. I think you're going to see a lot of outrage over that. Oh, that would be awful.
But
All
then,
right,
then look. Well, let's hope they don't. But then look at the dissension amongst the ranks they're creating within Pixar. Oh, great! Your movie gets to go theatrical, where mine's sitting in Disney Plus.
No. What you're seeing with that now is saying, oh, Disney Animations films get to go to theatrical.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But ours, because don't forget that Disney Animations films, they're still getting theatrical release. Raya got a theatrical release. The other one they did, I'm trying to remember, Encanto got a theatrical release.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, the Omicron variant will burn itself out. The way if you look at South Africa, it's burned out pretty quickly there.
That's
Maybe
our hope.
That'll happen here.
And we got more people vaccinated here. They're keeping people out of the hospitals. So here's hoping. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, you seen Around the World in 80 Days adaptation with David Tennant? I'm really liking it and highly recommend. I read the book in middle school and loved it.
I do not believe I saw the one with David Tennant. Have any of you guys
I think it's
seen
on
this one?
PBS.
Was it on
I think.
PBS? I did
I'm
not
not
see it.
wrong.
I'll watch anything David Tennant's in.
Yeah, I'm starting to really like David Tennant.
You know,
as a matter
he's
of fact.
great.
He's growing on me even more and more and more.
Broadchurch, Good Omens.
All right, what's next?
John Redcorn says, John and Rob are the Splash Brothers of film pundits. So happy Klay Thompson's back.
I am. Listen, I'll tell you what. I am a big Klay Thompson fan. I'm not a huge Golden State Warriors fan, but I have always loved Klay Thompson. This is a dude who often outshoots Steph Curry, and with him back, yeah. I'm telling you what, with Steph Curry back. Good night, everybody else in the NBA. Bye. Like the Warriors have been starting to find their footing again. They're back to playing pretty dominant.
They got young pieces.
And that was without Klay Thompson back. F it. It's done.
It's done.
It's done. I mean, these with the Splash Brothers at full power. I mean, maybe
Unlimited
a LeBron unlimited power. But honestly, the only thing that can stop it is a radically streaking LeBron James. That's the only thing that ever stopped them before. But that only happened once. And so I don't know. It's scary. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, I did something stupid. Funko makes a pop version of the Spider-Man imposter meme, and I bought it.
I don't know what we're talking about. What's the Spider-Man
The
imposter
one where
meme?
they're pointing at
the
each other.
fingers?
They
Is
did
that-
like
is
a
that what
little
that is?
thing, and he's just
They did
saying-
a pop of that?
Yeah, they did.
Oh my God. Okay, now I got to look for that. I got to see if I can get my hands on that. All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw says, I want to see Iger arrive like the Hutt twins, and Feige comes out like the Gladiator. Chapek and Daniel is Boba and Finnick. Someone make that video.
Except in that video, I want the Hutts to totally squash Boba Fett. Dear Bob Iger, we all know Bob Iger watches this show. He watches it every day. He's got to have it
Obviously.
with his
We know
morning
this.
coffee, and he's got to watch the John Campea Show. Come back.
Yeah, he's got nothing better to do.
You're going to get bored sitting on the Tahiti beach. What are you going to remember? Remember when you were like the most important, powerful guy in all? Come back. We need you. Anyway, okay, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, R.I.P. Bob Saget. I remember being a little kid, not tired enough to go to sleep and watch Full House reruns on Nickelodeon's adult time slot.
I think a lot of adults have done that with. I mean, then of course he returned for like 10 episodes of the relaunch
Fuller
of
House.
Fuller House.
Yep.
It was stuff like that. Again, he was just a great was it Bergeron who took over America's funniest or
Yes.
America's what was it called again?
Funniest video.
Funny
Funny
Yeah.
videos. Bergeron took it over and he was good, but Bob Saget was such a great host of that, such a good comedian. All right,
I think
what's
they have
next?
Carlton hosting.
That's
that now.
right. He did host that for a bit, didn't
What's his
he?
name? Ribeiro.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Alfonso.
Yeah, and I don't think he ever did the dance, but yes, he did host that for a bit. All right. Nice. Well remembered, Ray. All right, what's next?
Murray Reich says, great NFL game last night.
One of the best of the year. Best game of the year.
Steelers fans were gulping from fourth quarter till the end. The unthinkable almost happened. What a crazy NFL year we've had.
Okay, for those of you who are not sports fans and don't follow this, you'll appreciate this. So Ben Roethlisberger looks like he played his last game, right? The Steelers yesterday afternoon needed to win to get in. They needed Indianapolis to lose their game, and Pittsburgh needed to win their game. That happened. Indianapolis lost to the worst team in the league, inexplicably, and then Pittsburgh beat their arch rivals, the Baltimore Ravens, to put themselves into a position to get into the playoffs. The only thing that would keep Pittsburgh out of the playoffs is if in the night game, the San Diego Chargers and the Los Angeles Raiders tied. In 200 and something regulation games this year, there were 2 ties. So it's 1%. Doesn't happen. Impossible. And yet last night, with a couple of minutes left and down by 15 points, the San Diego Chargers roar back, convert 3 fourth downs, and on the last play of the game, tie the game. It goes into overtime. Pittsburgh marches down, Raiders march down, kick a field goal. As long as San Diego doesn't score, they went, San Diego marches down. They score a field goal. It's tied up. And then with no time left in the game, final play of the game, the Raiders kick a 47-yard field goal to win. They were like 1 second away from a tie game, which would have kicked Ben Roethlisberger in the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was like the craziest drama. Me, Ann, and Ryan were sitting here last night watching the game. We're like screaming at the TV. It's like 4th down conversion after 4th down conversion. It is one of the craziest NFL games I've ever seen. It was so much fun to watch. And Raiders won. Chargers are out of the playoffs. Raiders are in. And because it was not a tie, but I'm sitting there watching this. I'm like, oh my God, the Steelers aren't going to make the playoffs because there's going to be a tie. Craziest thing. Crazy, amazing game. Anyway, all right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, with the hiring of Christensen and Resnick, I'm now even more convinced that Echo is, and I can't stress this enough, a reboot Daredevil show.
Listen, Sam, you're not alone. There are a lot of people writing to me already today saying they have that same theory. I think most of us in this room tend to still believe it's still going to be an Echo show and maybe feature a bunch of that stuff. What's the nature of it going to be? Is it actually going to be the literal Netflix stuff coming over? Is it going to be a reimagining of it? Whatever. But I think we all kind of agree here that's still going to be Echo. But you're not alone, man.
Daredevil adjacent.
Yeah, I always thought Disney Plus was the platform where they can introduce these secondary characters that they like.
That's probably what they're going to use it as.
So like that's another reason why I think Echo is actually a real show. Going to be a real show.
I don't disagree. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, I have a feeling that if Iger were still in charge, no one at Pixar would feel demoralized because he would put out a statement that said they feel streaming release is necessary for the movie's success.
No, Bob Iger wouldn't do that because Bob Iger wouldn't lie. That's the thing. One of the things that made Iger so popular amongst the other creatives was he was always shot straight with them. He always let the creatives and his various studio heads know exactly what was going on, exactly where they stood, and exactly all that kind of stuff. Bob Iger would not have let these films go direct to home. And maybe one of them because you've got this. Bob Iger spent the last number of his years at Disney getting it all set up, getting Disney Plus set up. It is his last final main legacy there. So they would have been some experimenting and doing some things, absolutely, but you wouldn't have seen 3 films in a row like this happening. And then he wouldn't have fed some kind of BS line to his creative general saying, oh, no, this is necessary for the success of the film. No, he wouldn't have given them that bullshit, I don't think. All right, what's next?
Daniel Joseph says, good to be back, John. I took a hiatus from all things entertainment news until seeing No Way Home. Worth it for the big surprises.
I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad you had a good time with it, man. And welcome back, Daniel. Good to have you back, man. All right, what's next?
Rafael Castillo says, sending a $5 just to say it's 2022 and folks still complain about remakes and reboots. Meanwhile, some of their favorite films are remakes.
That's the thing. What I just saw, what movie I was just talking about? I just saw a remake and it was like one of the best movies. Oh, West Side Story. Remake, reboot. Best movie of the year.
Won the Golden Globe last night for best musical or comedy.
For best musical or comedy. Yeah, who cares?
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, nobody cares. But I mean, this discussion always comes up. People think they sound smart when they go, well, reboots are always... Well, no, actually, some of the most celebrated films in Hollywood history are reboots. I mean, and West Side Story is just another edition. Are there a lot of bad ones? Absolutely there are. Absolutely there are. But you also get these diamonds, and this year is no exception to that. All right, what's next?
Harvest K says, 2022 has already been such a brutal year for celebrity deaths. I hope that this does not portend to more bad things to come. Is it 2023 yet?
I mean, listen, bad things happen every day. Always have, always will. So I don't think this is what's you call a harbinger of things to come for 2022. But yeah, I mean, it's some really sad stuff we've started off the year with, no doubt, Harvs. All right, what's next?
Scotty H says, throwing this in the ring as well, but my most anticipated new season is season 6 of Peaky Blinders. It comes out this year. Cillian Murphy, am I saying that right?
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy is the GOAT.
I said Cillian Murphy.
I always say Cillian.
I've said it Cillian
That's
for
wrong.
years. I've said so, but
Cillian.
I am not a big Peaky Blinders fan. I tried starting to watch because a lot of my friends watched it, and I got through like the first season. I'm like, I tapped out. It just wasn't for me. But a lot of people love it. And by the way, Cillian Murphy, not only that, he's the lead in the new Christopher Nolan film and Oppenheimer. There's some good. Rob, did you ever watch Peaky Blinders?
I love Peaky Blinders.
Oh, you're big on it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I got to tell you, between watch the trailer for Peaky Blinders season 6 and watch the trailer for Ozark, bruh. Come on, bro.
Yeah, another one I'm not really big on. All right, what's next?
This is coming from Blake Rogers. Do you think Charlie Cox is actually up for another bout as the devil of Hell's Kitchen? Much love, everyone.
Well, I mean, the point is moot because Kevin Feige already said Charlie Cox is going to be Daredevil. And I do not mean this to sound like I'm casting shade. I know some people are going to say it is, but I'm not. Not at all. Charlie Cox hasn't exactly been busy lately. Right?
Shade. Little shade there.
Well, but he hasn't really. I mean, it's like, and listen, it's not like they stopped doing Daredevil because Charlie Cox was like, well, you know, I've been playing Daredevil for 17 years now. It's not like a Hugh Jackman situation. Dude, I've been playing Wolverine for 2 decades. Time for me to take a break. He only got 3 seasons, and it didn't end because Charlie Cox wanted to walk away from it. Charlie Cox loves playing this role. So no, I don't think there's gonna be any problem with him wanting to do it.
Also, I mean, first of all, he was in No Way Home, which is shaping up to be one of the biggest, not only Marvel movies, but movies ever made.
Yes, it's already in the top 10.
And I would say Charlie Cox was playing a lawyer in that movie, wasn't he?
Yeah, indeed.
Well, there's another Marvel series coming out about a lawyer.
True. That doesn't automatically mean
They might know
one
each
thing
other.
equals the other. Just saying.
It could be like the L.A. Law of the MCU with all these different. They're rebooting L.A. Law too
That reboot is coming. They are
right.
with Arnie
Yep.
Becker coming
Yep.
back.
They got a couple of them coming
Is
back.
was it Harry Hamlin?
I don't know if he's coming back though. I haven't heard if he's
like
coming
it.
back.
I mean,
but they're
I think
doing that,
a lawyer show set in the MCU is going to be. They like their genres.
Instead of dun dun.
I was
what would it be?
about to do that. Are they going to have the Law and Order?
What would it be?
Like, I'll be totally
It
down
would
for that.
just keep going dun dun
All
dun
right.
dun 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 dun.
What's
dun.
next?
My Comic Planet said, I just saw another bad movie with Bruce Willis, American Siege. John, how does he keep getting roles when every movie he does is now trash? LOL.
Because he's
Ouch, first of all.
he's Bruce Willis.
I love Bruce.
He's Bruce Willis, right? And it doesn't matter. Look, Bruce Willis just stopped trying 15 years ago. He just stopped trying, which is really a shame because we have seen him when he wants to try. He's an amazing actor, and I love watching him. But he just doesn't care anymore. He doesn't talk to his directors. I mean, just listen to the Kevin Smith thing about when Kevin Smith tried as the director of what's it called Cop Out. When he tried to give some direction, how dare he, the director of the film, try to give some direction to Bruce Willis? Bruce Willis is just like, F you, I'm Bruce Willis. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I mean, if there's anything that really highlights that, Eli Roth directed the
Death Wish
the
remake.
Death Wish remake. And I remember being excited for that. I remember thinking, first of all, I like Eli Roth as a director.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, if there's going to be some material that can kind of reinvigorate Bruce Willis to want to really give it something, oh my God, did he sleepwalk through that movie? Seriously, the only thing that was missing was him yawning. That's it. Everything else, it was just like sleepwalking, but he is still Bruce Willis. He's the star of Die Hard. I mean, he's that guy. So if you're a producer and you've got a little film and you find out you can get Bruce Willis in it.
Well, he's partnered up with one specific producer, and I forget the producer's name, and they're making these movies where he's making like $1 million a film, and he's just clocking him for like a couple of days work.
Yep.
And I it's interesting because movies are so hard to get made. You'd hope that someone like Bruce Willis, who's worked with some of the best directors. I mean, the guy worked with Brian De Palma. He worked with Alan Rudolph. Luc Besson with doing the Fifth Element. He's worked with. He's a man that suddenly just doesn't care about his legacy or his profession, and I don't understand it.
You know what? 10 years, some guys in the live chat, Sam Costos, Red Comet, and a few others are pointing out 10 years ago, Looper. I think that's
Oh yeah,
I
that
think-
was 10 years.
that was 2012.
With Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
That was and Emily Blunt.
Yep,
That was
it's getting on
10
10 years ago. Yeah.
That was a good movie.
That was a really good movie.
I
and
just watched
Bruce
that
Willis
the other
looked
day.
great in it.
It's coming
You
out
did?
in 4K too. It's still really
That was
good.
dope.
It's,
It was-
it's a
yeah.
really, really good movie, directed by Ryan Johnson. All right, what's next?
Andy says, John, with all his knowledge in theology and law, is able to make it as a wise man. But can he cut it as a poor man stealing? Question from Nickelback.
Never make it as a wise man. Never make it as a poor man stealing. This is how you remind me.
I guess he
You
can't
asked
make
for
it as Nickelback.
You asked for it. All right, what's next?
Stop. Andy says, John, you should just change the appreciation, supporter, and team levels of your Patreon to Soggy Ass Plus, and Soggy Ass Max, respectively.
There is, by the way, there is still a level on our Patreon support called the Pat Campea level. So there's several levels on our Patreon supporters, and it's all relatively low. But then I have a $100 a month level that I call the Pat Campea level. I actually think we have one member who's like a Pat Campea level. But I'll tell you who is not one of the Pat Campea level supporters.
Pat Campea.
Pat Campea. Pasquale Campea. That's my dad. That's my dad.
Come on, Pat.
Come on, Pat. Ray knows my dad.
Yeah, I love your dad.
my dad loves
so
Ray
funny.
too. My dad's great. But I made the Pat Campea level just so my dad could become a supporter. My dad never be. Now, of course, my dad has supported me my whole life. But I'm saying, where's Pat Campea at that Pat Campea level? Just a question there. Mom, get dad on that. All right, what's next?
Christian 301291 says, everyone wants Sony to do more movies with Andrew and Toby. For me, the question isn't if Sony wants to do them. It's more if T&M want to be S&M again.
Probably
if
meant,
Toby
and McGuire.
and
They
McGuire
mixed
wants
it up there
to...
because they did the initial for a first name and the initial for a last name.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not the thing. But Sony will say, okay, oh yeah, all you people, you want more. You want. Then why didn't you support the movies when we made them? I mean, so that's what they could be thinking to themselves. Tobey Maguire, I don't think wants to come back to play Spider-Man again. I think Andrew Garfield is a different case because Andrew Garfield has such a deep passion for the character. Do you guys remember
Golden Globe award winning.
Golden
Andrew
Globe?
Garfield. For Tick Tick. What?
Boom.
Yeah.
But do you guys remember that one of my favorite clips all time, other than Tom Hiddleston on stage as Loki, one of my favorite all-time clips from Comic-Con is Andrew Garfield going up to the microphone when people didn't know he was there, and he goes up to the microphone in Hall H, and he just went on for a couple of minutes about why he loves Spider-Man so much, and he was looking forward to playing the character and all that kind of stuff. So I think for him, it would be a separate thing. Look, depending on where the deal is at with Marvel and Sony, and none of us know the intricacies of that or where their deal's at. But I will tell you this. They won't be doing a live action Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie if Disney is doing Tom Holland live action Spider-Man movies. They're not going to do that. Neither Marvel nor Sony wants that. If they bring Tom Holland Spider-Man back over into Sony, which is a very real chance here, I don't think they're going to want to run two different franchises. So I don't know. Look, all you guys know, I want it. I've been wanting more. I love Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I loved him as Spider-Man, even in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was not the best movie, but I still loved him as Spider-Man. And I've wanted him as Spider-Man back for a very, very long time. I'm dubious if we'll actually get it, but that's where I'm at.
I want to make a bet. Can we make a bet?
Uh-oh.
Depends on what the terms are.
Here's my bet. I'm willing to bet that Andrew Garfield returns as Spider-Man in Venom 3.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know anything about this. I'm just saying, you want to bring Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man, you put him in Venom 3. It's a Venom movie. It'll always be a Venom movie. You can bring back Spider-Man.
I had a discussion with another friend of mine about that specifically a couple days ago. Do I think that will happen? I'm not saying I think it will. Do I think that's quite feasible? Yeah. I think that's quite feasible. Like, if you wanted to do it, you could do it that way. Venom has already been a big money winner for Sony. That would obviously become then the biggest Venom movie ever. And, you know, Rob, you weren't here for it, but I was doing a show. I was talking about, you know, the 3 different Spider-Man, and I said, look, I don't think it's crazy to say that prior to No Way Home, as much as a lot of people love Andrew Garfield in any poll about who's your favorite Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield comes in third almost every time. And I said, I'll bet right now, if we do a poll right now, we have thousands of people watching. I bet if we do a poll right now, I bet you Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield comes in first. And then we put it the poll, and sure enough, Andrew Garfield, after No Way Home, Andrew Garfield was like one, not everybody, but he came out on top. So you put that in Venom 2?
Because
that's a $1 billion film.
Yeah, and I'm saying it doesn't compete. It's not a movie called Spider-Man. It doesn't compete with Marvel's the MCU Spider-Man, but you put it, and because they're not in the same universe anyway.
I still think it becomes problematic, though. See, the reason why I still wouldn't put money on that is it's still problematic. I don't think Marvel wants to do live-action Spider-Man movies. Well, even if it's not a movie called Spider-Man, you got another live-action Spider-Man running around. So, but feasible?
But they're the ones that did it.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I would love to see it. All right, what's next?
Andy says, my local Walmart and Best Buy had less and smaller sections for selling movies on Black Friday 2021. It was sad, but expected as physical media is dying.
You know what? Yesterday, every once in a while, me and Ray and our friend Ryan will just do a Best Buy run. I love doing Best Buy. I love toys. Best Buy run, right? But, you know, we haven't gone a lot since the pandemic, so it's only every once in a while. And I remember when we were there last night, it was last night we were there, right? Or was it 2 nights ago? I can't remember.
Saturday.
No, it was Sunday.
Yesterday.
It was yesterday. We did that, right?
Good afternoon.
I remember specifically noticing, oh, here's a thing of DVDs and Blu-rays. But like pre-pandemic, it was like aisles. Now it was like a shelf.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything speaks to the demise of physical media, you're right. You're right, Andy. That's a great observation, man. I think you're absolutely right about that. All right,
Big Lots is where to go.
Big Lots.
They got tons of DVDs.
Big Lots is the place. All right, what's next?
Casey Mack says, out of all these sad deaths we've had this year, I think this one hit me the worst. Sure, I did not know Bob Saget, but I did grow up on Full House.
It's something about that. Like, I remember when Carrie Fisher passed away. It's just like, I know it may look silly because I didn't know her personally. I mean, I met her a couple of times, but I didn't know her personally. I said, you got to understand. I spent so many hours growing up with Carrie Fisher, watching her as Princess Leia over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Like, to the point where if you mass it up, it's literal months of my life I spent with her every day in my living room with me. And when she died, I felt that. Felt the same way about Robin Williams when he died.
Oh,
when Robin Williams died, it was like, look, I never met Robin Williams. I think I might have met him once, but I didn't know Robin Williams. But it's just that through all of his movies, I've spent so much of my life with him when I was growing up that you feel that loss. And I think there's probably, even though I wasn't the biggest Full House guy, there are a lot of people who are, and I think there's a lot of people feeling that loss today. So I don't think you're alone, Casey. All right, what's next?
My Comic Planet says, saw the new trailer for Bel Air and it looks bad. Looks like a cheap CW show. Hope I'm wrong, but I didn't see anything to get excited about.
Now again, I'm saying don't knock it off because it doesn't look funny. Well, it's not meant to be funny.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen the trailer yet myself. So, I mean, I don't know if the trailer's good or bad, but it's not sounding like it's the best trailer. I'll look out for it, My Comic Planet. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, man. What's next? Mayor
Toronto says, what happened to that short open spoiler discussion on the Boba Fett episode you were supposed to have with Rob on Friday?
I don't recall us saying we were going to do it.
Me neither.
Yeah. So
maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe he's manifesting that. Are we going to do that for episode 3?
I don't think we're doing spoiler discussions for Boba Fett anymore. No. So I mean, I'm back on board with it. I'm back on board with Boba Fett, but I'm not doing spoiler discussions.
I do
There's really nothing to spoil about Boba Fett, right?
There is no spoiler discussion.
No.
Hot Toys did drop their Boba Fett 2-pack that has the armor and the Boba Fett in his
White
sand
onesie?
No, and his black
Oh,
sand
okay.
people robes.
The black sand people robes.
and
that
his
would like-
gaffy stick.
the white
I wanted
onesie,
Hanes
not so
version,
much.
Yeah. The Hanes dirty pajama version. You know notice how they never showed the back of that pajama?
It wasn't the open flap.
Oh, come on now.
He's been through a lot of shit. I don't know. It was there. It was there. I took it.
Damn it, really?
Take it or leave it. Whatever you
The
want.
shot.
Whatever
All
you want.
right, what's next?
Michael Kocher says maybe Disney is releasing Turning Red on Disney Plus because they believe that is where the film will make the most money, and it's Disney's movie.
It won't. The numbers have already proved they don't actually do that much. So no, I don't believe for 1 second, and Pixar doesn't believe for 1 second that's where they believe it'll make its most money. It won't.
Pixar should put out some viral marketing thing that shows everybody that worked on Turning Red's face is turning red, just cutting to all of them in anger.
All right, what's next?
Suthia says Venom sees Carnage. Oh shit, it's a red one.
I love that
Chewbacca
line.
sees Chrysanthemum.
Chrysan. Yeah.
Chrysan. Oh shit, it's a black one. Can't wait to see what this Wookiee can do.
Dude, listen, I'm telling you, if nothing else can motivate you to go and pick up some Doctor, look, I'm not a big proponent of the extended canon universe comic books for Star Wars right now. Dr. Aphra is a really good one, and that's where he's kind of introduced. Go pick up some Dr. Aphra. I think you'd be very, very pleasantly happy with that. All right, what's next?
Connor Patterson says, "Hey John, I've been tuning in every day for about 2 years now, and I got engaged this
wow.
weekend. We watched The Wedding Singer to celebrate. Love y'all."
First of all, Connor, that is awesome. Congratulations to you and your partner. I hope you had a wonderful day and a wonderful life ahead of you guys. And watching The Wedding Singer is a pretty good one. Ray, was it the one? Because you went to a wedding on Saturday.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was
Was
like
it this one? Was it Connor's wedding?
No.
Connor didn't invite you?
No.
Screw Connor.
But I wanted to point out in the last question, it wasn't about a full spoiler chat. It was just you guys were supposed to give your thoughts of the last episode during the show.
Did we not give our thoughts on the? I thought we did
because
give
you know
our
how
thoughts.
you have like that new 24, or like maybe you waited longer. And I remember you guys saying that
I
the
thought
next
we
day you
did
guys
talk. Maybe we didn't talk about it in general. I thought we did.
Well, you liked it.
Yeah,
Bob
we liked it.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I meant there was a.
We'll make sure this Wednesday we'll talk a little.
Oh yeah,
we'll talk a little bit
this
more
last
about the new episode. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We'll make sure. Thanks for following up with that. All right, what's next?
Callum Locke says, "Just watched Boiling Point on Amazon, a 90-minute one-take movie. Phenomenal, very intense and thrilling. Strongly recommend it. Have you seen it, John?"
Which one is that?
I don't know it. Who's in it? Does it say?
I mean, if it's a Netflix thing, it wouldn't be surprised if I've never heard of it. I mean, at first I thought you were talking about Boiler Room, but
Boiling Point on
Yes.
Amazon.
I'm not
a
familiar
one-shot
with it.
film, I'd watch that.
I mean, that sounds intriguing. Like that's instantly got me very intrigued. That's like watching an amazing play.
By the way, I just want you to know if Blumhouse ever hires me to make a horror movie, I want to do a one-shot remake of Blood Beach. Take that one to the bank.
All right,
Blood
the
Beach.
gauntlet has been thrown down. All right, what's next?
Ah, I'm dying, you idiot, Sinclair. Says, "It's too bad Bam Margera can't get a shit together. It would have been awesome to see him in Jackass Forever."
That's really sad. I mean, look, I obviously I don't follow the Jackass guys and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
I did read about
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's the
Oh.
one guy who, like,
He's
the rest
really
of
battling
Jackass.
addiction really
He's been a
bad.
part of Jackass for so long, and the rest of Jackass guys just said, like, "You're so messed up. We can't work with you anymore." And
You know,
it's really sad to hear that stuff.
I wasn't a huge fan of Jackass, but one thing I do admire is I've been following like Steve-O and his journey. And one thing I can say about those guys is, as silly as they are on screen, they really had each other's backs through addiction. And like Steve-O really talked a lot about how those guys that you see in the videos really saved his life.
Right.
So that it's sad all around anyone dealing
So it
with
makes me
addiction.
wonder, like, how far gone was Bam? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't.
Margera.
Because they had done, I believe they had done several interventions with him
That's what I read.
and his
yeah.
family. And
But I
so-
don't know. Like, I wasn't there. But yeah, it's very sad to hear.
But they
that
didn't.
stuff.
They didn't turn his back on him. I know that.
Right.
He put his dad through hell, from what I remember of Bam. He was the one that would always slap his dad in the face or something like that. He had a big.
Oh, was that him?
And he was
did
always
that
in
too?
his underwear waking up, and Bam would just do some sort of weird thing to him.
Not good.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. Here's something about Pasquale Campea. My dad, I hope I'm not embarrassing him. here's the thing about my dad, like very traditional. He's the stereotypical Italian, male guy in a lot of ways. But, my dad, as stern and everything as he was, my dad never once spanked me, as a kid or child, never once. And do you want to know why he never did? Because I knew beyond the slightest shadow of a doubt that he totally would if I ever pushed him to that level. If I ever pushed him to that level, I had no doubt in my mind that he would, but he never did once. Now, my father also has a lot of guns in the house. So I'm just trying to think. I watch some people, the way they treat their parents. Growing up, right? I'd watch the way some of my friends, most of my friends were always great to their parents, but some of my friends, the way they would disrespect their parents. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It would be Looney Tunes. When Bugs goes through the wall and it's just a silhouette?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's it's very dangerous these days, understandably so. I feel even weird about it. But there was a terrific joke told by Bill Cosby. But Bill Cosby once told this joke about pissing off his father. It's like dad saying that, listen, child, I brought you in this world. I'll take you out. And I always imagine that would be my dad. But I see some people disrespect this. Like I could never disrespect my parents like that. Ever. Anyway, sorry. I got a sidetrack there. What's next?
Unknown says, Raiders, what a game. I was on the edge of my seat until the end. Thoughts of records being broken in a 17-game season having an asterisk.
But listen, it happens in every sport. Every sport evolves. Like the NHL went from 40 games to 50 games. They went from 6 teams to 30-plus teams. Like the baseball has got, sports evolves. And then when you talk about records, like sometimes in football already, they talk about he has the passing record in the Super Bowl era. Or whatever, right? There's always been that. So yeah, the NFL has expanded the number of games that they play. I like that. Does that make records, does that mean we have to look at records a little bit differently now? Yeah. So TJ Watt didn't set the new record. He did tie the record. But somebody set a team single season record. Yeah, well, that was with an extra game. But we'll just learn to refer to it as that moving forward. So no, you don't have to put asterisks beside it, but we just learned how to make distinction between eras because that's always happened in sports. All right, what's next?
Cutter Hale says, with Knoxville being in the Rumble, WWE made a shirt and it says Johnny Knoxville, world champion. I pre-ordered it and I'm wearing it to the theater. Can't wait for Jackass 4.
Okay, I will say this. As cool as I think it is a Johnny Knoxville, who I think is going to take worlds of punishment in Royal Rumble. What WWE cannot do is make the company destroying mistake that WCW, Ray, you probably know where I'm going with this. What WCW did years ago when they had a celebrity participating in their wrestling matches, but they ended up making him world champion, was David Arquette.
David Arquette.
Remember that?
Never been in the ring. Never done anything.
Didn't they make a documentary about David Arquette going in the ring?
Oh,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, probably why they gave him the title. That's probably why. I don't know. But yeah, it was. They were just phoning it in at that point. I mean, they were Bruce Willising it.
But I mean, it pissed off the fans. It wasn't cool. So I hope they don't do something stupid like that. Make it fun with Knoxville. Just don't pull another David Arquette. All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw says Campea and Ray in Jackass Forever and Ever.
There's Al Renshaw.
I could see Ray and I doing a Jackass kind of thing sometime. I mean, I would lose.
I would probably be the one sleeping and do whatever, as long as I don't wake up, whatever.
It's a honey badger in your bed.
All right, what's next?
Josie Review says, if you have not seen Bad Trip on Netflix with Haddish and Andre, it was the hardest laugh I had in 2021.
Yeah, I really like Tiffany Haddish, and I did not watch Bad Trip. I mean, watching her in Girls Trip, that was a revelation.
You guys love that movie.
Oh my God. Ann and I went to go see it. We had nothing to do one night.
So funny.
We had nothing to do one night, had no interest. It looks like a throwaway comedy. We went and watched that, and we were gasping for air. We were laughing so hard. And then we went back to watch it again the next day. That's how much we liked. And that turned me on to Tiffany Haddish's stand-up comedy. I think she's really good at stand-up comedy. I've not really liked her in any movies since.
She was good in The Card Counter.
Yes.
Paul Schrader's
Yes.
new movie
Yes, with Oscar
with
Isaac.
Oscar Isaac.
Yep.
She was good in that. I was surprised because it was a dramatic.
Oh,
role.
and you know
thought
what
she
I was
really
most
good.
disappointed in? Remember the kitchen sink
Oh, with Melissa
McCarthy and who was the third?
Elizabeth Moss.
Elizabeth? Right. You had this powerhouse trio.
That was bad.
I remember I saw it at a movie theater, immediately left, had to go meet Ray at the airport. And then I had to do my review for it walking through the airport because we were getting on a plane to go to Toronto, I think. And I'm like, I was so excited about the kitchen sink. I was so excited about that movie. And it was so awful. And like you had these three great performers, Melissa McCarthy, Elizabeth Moss, Tiffany Haddish. Oh my God. It's so bad. So bad. Anyway, what's next?
Luis Enrique de la Peña says Marvel Phase 1. Captain Bromerica.
Oh no!
The first Brovenger. Iron Bro 2, The Incredible Broer and the Brovengers.
Okay. You know what? You made me think of one that could work. The Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy classic. You know where I'm going with this?
Brofinger.
Brofinger.
Dude.
Oh my
I can do
God.
this all day.
I can do this all day.
When is this going to end?
Oh, probably not.
Not.
Rob is over it.
It's
not.
He's just not even listening no more. He checked out.
It's not going to end.
Brofinger. All right.
Just
what's
getting
next?
started. Alan Gonzalez says, "Hey John, do you still play VR? The Star Wars game is very good."
Well, I was using my Oculus, and then when we moved, it went missing.
Oh no.
We moved, it went missing. And then I'll tell you a true story, just to guilt somebody in this room. True story. Somebody in this room wanted to get the new Oculus VR, and I let them take my PlayStation 4.
The very dusty, dirty, unused. Why did you buy this PlayStation 4?
I let them take my PlayStation 4. Just take it.
Just take it.
So they could take it to GameStop, trade it in, get the money,
yeah.
and use that
Oh,
money to
and-
buy an Oculus, promising me that I'll get to use it. And it hasn't
Oh, I'll
been
bring
in
it.
my house yet.
I'll bring it. But you know what? That PlayStation 4 was
pretty dusty.
It paid for the whole thing.
Did it pay for the whole thing?
It was 4 cents. They gave me credit, and it
4
was
cents?
4 cents over.
Oh, 4 cents over.
Yeah. So I got your 4 cents in the car, if that's what you want. But someone had to do something with that PlayStation.
It wasn't getting a lot of use.
I actually thought it was a piece of furniture after a while. I sat on it one time on accident. It looked like a big Kleenex box.
But I loved my Oculus Quest.
Oh, you
And
did?
I've been waiting to try
And
the new
I
one
will
out.
bring it here, but you know I'm helping, with the game. Some game
Yes,
that,
you need it right now. I
yeah.
totally get that. Yeah, no problem. But at some point, I
it
gotta
wasn't
try it.
for personal or like it was for like some sort of work that I'm doing. But yeah,
All right, what's next?
Elizabeth Gerardo says Betty was America's grandma and Bob was America's dad.
I still like to think, all due respect to Bob, Anne said this once and it stuck with me ever since. Tom Hanks is America's dad. He's America's dad, right? But Bob Saget, yeah, a lot of people grew up with him as the dad. That's true. All right, what's next?
John Redcorn says, "Well, I think it's unlikely that we get The Amazing Spider-Man 3. I think it's more likely Garfield could appear in either Morbius post-credits, Kraven, or Venom 3.
We were just talking about that. Don't guess they will, but I wouldn't bet against it. I mean that's totally feasible. I mean, who knows what Amy Pascal is thinking? She could have a lot, and I think Andrew Garfield would do it.
I think so too. And look, after you fight Carnage, who do you put in the next Venom movie, the third Venom movie, to put you over the top? Spider-Man.
Maybe. I mean, it would be $1 billion film. All right,
Thank you, Amy. I'll expect your call. Come on now.
What's next?
Luis Enrique de la Peña says, Bob Saget was in a big part of my childhood and teen years because I learned English by watching Full House and America's
wow.
Funniest Home Videos, RIP.
It is amazing how many people say they learned English from watching. And I know how crazy, how impressive that is, because Ann and Kaori, for like 4 months, were on this kick of every day watching this Japanese reality show. I'm trying to remember the name of it, where it's all these hot young Japanese singles have to come and live in a house together, and they just live in the house together. That's it. And it just follows them around going out getting jobs and blah, blah, blah. And if any of you guys in the live chat remember the name of this thing, but like Ann and Corey, Terrace House, Comical Nerd, Yang Lu, Tony Taylor, John Vu, a bunch of you guys, Terrace House was what it was called. And they would, and,
better name.
Ann and Kaori would have this show on all day, every day. And it was all subtitled, right? And what's the point? Here's the point. I have listened to a good 500 hours of Japanese conversation in my house, and I could, other than arigato, I couldn't say a single thing to you. I have no idea. So people who say they have learned English from watching American television, I find that incredibly impressive.
Wow.
I find that super impressive.
Dude, if you watch the Shogun miniseries, you'll learn to speak Japanese.
I love the Shogun miniseries.
It's so good.
You got
remaking
Gimli,
it.
the dwarf, in there.
I'm very picky on the words on the words I want to learn from foreign countries.
Yeah,
I'm very picky. There's a couple that I will remember forever. I can't say.
All right, what's next?
Adhi Ravinshkar says, I remember Bob Saget from HIMYM. I love how he played his role there. It's sad, especially with the remake coming out this month.
I only watched a couple of episodes of How I Met Your Mother. It
How I
wasn't
Met
really
Your
one I
Mother.
got into very much, but they've got a new one coming out called How I Met Your Father. But since I didn't really watch How I Met Your Mother, I can't tell. Is that one you ever watched? Did you ever see How I Met Your Mother?
I watched, you know what? Of all the sitcoms that I have never watched, I have watched episodes of that.
That's one you have seen. What about you guys? Have you guys ever watched
Yeah.
How I Met You?
I've
What do you
seen
think
you.
of that?
Yeah.
I've left it on the background while working. That's all I know. But is that the one with not with Charlie Sheen? Is it?
That's Two
No,
and a Half
that's
Men,
Two and a Half
dude.
Men.
Oh no. Okay, then I haven't. Well, How I Met 2.5 Men is my favorite show.
How I Met 2.5 Men.
Is that on your new dating profile?
Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Oh, that's the one with Charlie Sheen, right?
2.5 Mothers is better for TV.
Okay.
Oh, Ray.
Maybe.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Great.
That's the one with Charlie Sheen, right?
I was like, this has nothing to do with mothers.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
I'm the most credible source of TV review information. Come to me.
Oh my god. Okay, what's next?
Adrian Bond sends in a 2022 super chat. Thank you for the support.
Adrian Bonds.
Hi, John, Kimberly, Ray, and Rob.
Hello.
Been watching since AMC. I watch y'all during my lunch break while
thanks.
working from home. I just started playing It Takes Two with my girlfriend.
Oh, yes.
Also, check out Southside on HBO and Hit Monkey on Hulu.
You know what? The one thing I'll say,
Southside's so
I love
funny.
Charlie Sheen and Hit Monkey. No, I'm kidding. First of all, thank you for watching along with us. Hit Monkey, massive disappointment. I
really?
try.
What is that?
Ann and I tried. Jason Sudeikis does a voice. It's based on the comic. It's literally this monkey who becomes a hitman.
Oh.
That sounds like it won already.
But Ann and I try to watch it. I mean, because you got Jason Sudeikis, and we were just like hot off the heels of Ted Lasso. So we're like, oh, it's gonna be great. And it's just absolutely awful.
Have you seen Southside?
I have not watched Southside. Like, which one is Southside?
If you want to laugh till you cry, it's on HBO. I believe the series started on Comedy Central. Man, this show is funny. It's about guys that work at like a furniture rental store and just like these two cops. And it's a mix between Atlanta and Reno 911, kind of. It is like cry, face red, hilarious.
Huh?
You have to
Sounds
check
like
it out.
Not interested.
I know.
You have to. No.
Huh means
No.
yeah, not interested.
No.
This
You
sounds rather
have to
interesting.
check it out. It's so funny.
All right.
Huh.
All right. What's next?
Spencer Nielsen says Del Toro's new Nightmare Alley is a more sophisticated, elegant production than the 1947 OG, but Bradley Cooper doesn't hold a candle to Tyrone Power. Holy Moses, does Power completely own that film?
I have never watched the original.
It's great.
Is it like
It's great, and it's still great. It's one of the great noirs.
it holds up?
Yeah, it holds up. Absolutely holds up. I mean, the language, I think it's I don't know, it's from the 40s, but it's a great movie.
All
That's
right.
why I wanted to remake it. He loves it.
Yeah.
Dora loves it.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Russell Amador says, let's get a Harloff Campea Manscaped ad collab.
No, that is not going to happen. I will tell you that right now.
Oh, man.
Manscaped and collabs should never be spoken in the same sentence.
Premiere on Cockmax.
I don't know, man.
The world premiere on Cockmax. A subdivision of PTV.
I don't know. You could just make that as its own video. I mean, it would be a sponsored video that was built into the video itself. That would go viral, man. That could get a
Never
million
manscape
views.
with each other, please.
Who can get the shiniest sack? All right. What's next?
Wouldn't that be the pinkest?
You can't throw that segue at me. Oh, no.
Back to you, Kim. In the studio.
First it was John, and then Rob, your follow-up.
Pink sack.
And then you're like, all right, Kim, what's that? You can't do that.
Sacks. Back to you, Kim. In the studio with the weather. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. Ali says, I also danced in my In the Heights cinema showing.
I'm not. People think I'm joking. I'm not. When the credits started to roll and the music was playing during the credits, Anna and I literally got up and just started dancing in the aisle.
So did I.
It was so much fun. I love that movie.
Wait, are you telling me that there would be actual evidence, modern evidence of your dance crew days, and I missed seeing it?
I certainly did not break dance in the aisles.
But I just
He was
watching
doing
you
the
bust a
electric
move.
boogaloo down the aisle.
I mean, that's like finding, the Orson Welles movie they remade that they finally finished, The Other Side of the Wind. Getting the John Campea dance crew videos is just about on par of that.
It is. It's been hidden by.
We're
top
gonna get
men.
it one day.
Oh, you'll never get your hands on it. It is buried at the Campea Ranch, buried in a box. Couple of VHS tapes.
I shall find this
You'll
box.
never find. They'll
No,
never
you'll
see
never-
the
You know
light
what?
of
Ray's
day.
relationship with your father.
Oh.
Come on,
But no, I don't think so.
give Pasquale a call,
But
dude.
yeah,
Pat would
but-
never even look for
But
them.
he respects his son. Too.
All right, what's next?
John Redcorn says, Chapek better not dump Lightyear on Disney Plus,
Oh,
damn it.
dude! I
That would hurt my heart.
can't imagine. Like if Chapek right now feels like, and by the way, I'm still cheering for Chapek. I hope he turns it around, becomes the best CEO of Disney ever. But I mean, whatever goodwill he might still have, they do that to Lightyear, I think it's gone. I think any of that goodwill is gone. I mean, I honestly liken it unto this. If they moved Lightyear just on a ticket, took it out of the theatrical release, not quite as severe, but I liken it unto if he let, and I think it will happen eventually, if he let Kevin Feige get away. Like, I think any goodwill that he has left is just going to evaporate and be gone. So I can't imagine he'll do that. I cannot imagine he'll do that. All right. What's
Don't
next?
do it, bro. Ryan Tribuco sends in a 1999 super chat. Thank you. Hey, Rob, you said San Diego Chargers at the top of the show.
I still probably say that too once in a while.
Look, man, in my life, I'm telling you, it's the Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers, and it's the Seattle Supersonics. Fight me.
I still accidentally sometimes say
I know.
Oakland Raiders and San Diego Chargers. I still accidentally say
I
that
can't
sometimes.
help it.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
an
just
old
part of
man
it.
with my faculties are failing.
All right. Please keep going.
When they left San Diego, a lot of people I know switched to rooting for the Seahawks and now actively root against the Chargers. Anyways, happy Monday, everyone.
Well,
Hey.
then I want to say I love all of your friends because they should be rooting for the Seahawks.
And about JB in the live chat saying Seattle deserves an NBA team. They absolutely do.
I want the Supersonics to come back.
Yeah.
They should get a team and they should call them the Supersonics again.
They should, because the Supersonics is one of the coolest names ever for a basketball team.
And they had Bigfoot as the mascot, I think. Like the Harry and
Yeah.
Henderson looking guy.
Did
I'll
they?
tell you-
Yeah.
I'll tell you something else, man. They did win the championship in 78, 79. Downtown Freddie Brown, Slick Watts,
Wait a
Jack
second. The
Sigma.
Supersonics won a championship?
Yes, they did.
Then they should have never been they should still be a team then. I never knew they won a championship.
They did. They won a championship.
Wow.
All right. What's next?
Spencer Nielsen says, not movie related, sorry, but Rob, I feel like the only one who has read Mark Waid's run on The Flash. Trying really hard not to phrase this as a question.
Are you familiar with that run?
Did Mark Waid, when The Flash was rebooted in the wake of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and there was the new run of The Flash, was that Mark Waid? To be honest, I've read different iterations of The Flash. If it's a new run on The Flash, then I have not read it.
All right. What's next?
Fanimator and S-Beam send in super chats. Also, Ryan Ramirez and Laura Howard send in super chats. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, guys. We appreciate that very much. And listen, this is normally a part of the show where we would jump over and start taking the questions that you guys had sent in via the tip link, but we had like 6 topics today and stuff, like we run a little bit long, so we're gonna wrap it up. Don't worry, I think I'll probably see if Rob can do a companion video. We will get all caught up on the questions that you guys have sent in over the next day or so. Keep your guys' eyes open for that. We will get all caught up on these. Don't you worry about it, but we did run a little bit long today. But anyway, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the comments and questions. Number 1, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the John Campea Show, thank you guys so very much for your support. I also want to thank the people in this room with me, sitting over here, Kimberly Ann Curran. Kimberly, where can people find you online?
Hey guys, you can find me on Instagram at WasGoodKimberly.
And right beside her, Ray Ora, CEO of Max Cock, or Cock Max.
Ray Ora with a 0.
And right beside him, Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, where can people follow you?
You can find me freshly shorn over on Twitter at BurnettRM. You can find me on Instagram at Robert Meyer Burnett, or find me on my own YouTube channel, The Burnett Work.
And of course, guys, you guys can follow me on my Instagram or my Twitter, simply right there at John Campea. That'll do it for us for now, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.